Hello, hello, my friends. It is Hondo, and welcome back to the Knights of the Nerd Republic. You know what to do, and stay profitable.
The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
On which planet did
I
Luke
can tell
Skywalker
you everything
and Ben Solo
about this planet,
confront the Knights of Ren in
except
the
its
second
motherfucking name.
Buy merch. Your winner, by way of technical knockout.
We have some beautiful musicians. I am the king. I am the reigning champion. I will always be above you. I am bigger than you. I am wiser than you. I am stronger than you. I am better than you. I am God.
Hi, I'm Jared, the Trivia Loser Jedi.
And I'm Scooter.
And we're here to tell you that we aren't that great at trivia, and I mean we're downright poo-poo at it. Yeah, ever since then I've been dogging Scotty to step back in the ring with me. No questions about El Frono will be asked, and it'll be a good time this April. Now I have this like imaginary rivalry with you in my fucking head, where it's like, I want J-Ro!
Jared, you lost to me in trivia. You're a loser. You're a loser. I will not. You lost to me in trivia.
Jared lost to me in trivia. That charlatan friend, mind you, who has been ducking me and running from me for years now.
Your lust for J-Ro will destroy you.
And you will learn to rue the day you underestimated the power of the Bi Republic.
Is this your king? Is this your king?
Think about the things you applied to content creating and the things that you maybe have held have you hold to a high standard that people also love, and there's that one little dark spot in all of this, and you're like, man, I can't believe that I've gotten this far and just being a part of a bigger community, but there's this one little black spot in this beautiful Monet of a painting, and it's just the fact that I kicked your ass in trivia. Literally nothing makes me happier.
Well, that faded out sooner than was supposed to because nothing makes him happier. But this is Knights of the Nerd Republic. This is the Nerd Academy podcast live. We are here with a very fun special stream. I'm very excited to get into it. We have one more person joining us who will be on momentarily. But as always, I'm your host, Jared the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs. And joining me tonight, as always, is the Italian stallion, the one-eyed knight, the Lord Keeper, Dr. Pershing himself, Connor Chiquiti.
What's up, everyone? As always, glad to be here. Excited to do this Jedi March Madness bracket.
Congratulations on making it into the program.
Thank you.
Have you been in Coruscant long?
No.
Well, I think.
Joining us as well for this,
I've dug my own grave with that video.
You really did. Joining us also, a constant with the Versus series. We couldn't do any type of Versus content without him. Of course, we have Spencer, the Mando Simpson.
What's up? Yeah, we are very excited to have not just an epic Versus bracket,
but special guests on our versus March Madness tournament. Connor, welcome. And if I may be so bold as
wait, real quick before you introduce our next guest, Spencer, I will say to anybody in the chat, Spencer is behind on Mando. He has not seen this week's Mando. He has stayed spoiler free for this week's Mando. Do not fucking spoil this week's episode of The Mandalorian, or you will be banned from this channel. And I am not exaggerating. I will kick people. I am not playing around. Nobody spoil Mando.
Yeah, for realsies. That being said, we have the best friend of Mando himself here with us today. And if we are very, very lucky, we might just get a special appearance from the little guy himself. May I please introduce, as a special guest along with Connor, our wonderful friend Alden Diaz from Octo Radio, who is joining us for the March Madness versus bracket.
What's up, everyone? As always, glad to be here.
Jesus fuck.
Really excited for this.
Alden, just do your own thing, man. You don't gotta imitate me. Just carve your own path.
Oh,
don't.
I love you so much.
Love
Great
you too,
to be here. Yeah, Mando.
What's he up to? What's he up to these days?
He's over there playing with his Christmas tree toys. One of his favorites. Which
how's he been
know,
as of late?
How's Mando?
Yeah,
he's thriving. He's the best. He's just the picture of health. He's just incredible. He'll be 3 at the end of the summer, so he's still in his 2-year-old phase, and he's just living. You know, if any available versus series honeys out there like a dog dad, hit me up. I'm gonna make trying to get some on TNAP my new bit. This is the second time I've done it just this week. So yeah, exactly. We could trade bits for a while, Connor. Really glad to be here.
Bits. You can talk about the tapestry and tweet a shit ton of super long Twitter threads, and Alden can just talk like that.
Yeah, exactly. Really excited because tonight, Coleman sweep. Here we go. From 16 to the win.
My favorite thing about Alden is that the man you see on screen is the man he is behind the scenes. When I pitched this idea in the group chat we're all in, because I wanted special guests, because tomorrow's my birthday, and I wanted to do just a really fun, silly versus live stream. And I pitched the idea. I said Jedi Temple versus like March Madness bracket. And Alden was the first person to respond and said, and I quote, "Sounds like this is going to be controversial. Count me in."
And normally I'm like, how much do I have going on that week? I didn't even think about it. Did not even think about it. I was like,
that was the fastest reply.
This sounds so just inflammatory by its very nature. I'm so thrilled.
Yeah, we're gonna have lots of heavy hitters, a couple not so heavy hitters, and I'll be explaining all of the rules for that in a moment. But first, this live stream, like every piece of juicy content we bring you guys, is brought to you by our friends at Sunday's Bloody Mary. You guys know the drill by now. SundaysBloodyMary.com has the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement in the galaxy. They have their 3-time award-winning Spicy Caesar mix. As well as their mild mix and traditional mix, which is vegan friendly. They also have, which I just saw on Twitter, I saw the accolade before we stopped recording. They're also award-winning pickled dilly beans, okra, and asparagus, as well as some rim salt if you're trying to get those garnishes on your bloodies. So go ahead and get on over to sundaysbloodymary.com/shop. Use code TNAP, TNAP at checkout. You get 10% off your order, and you help out your favorite nerds while you do it. With that,
your bloody.
Huh?
What? Go on.
What did you say?
I said I'll garnish your bloody.
Oh, hot. While we do a little bit more stalling while we wait for Kaysen, and also to just do a little bit more sizzle, to do a little hype for it. I'll hide the bracket again real quick. April 10th, you will be witnessing another live stream, the most important live stream of my life. my patron here, Cookie Cop, has helped guide us all the way to the fateful rematch. It is time, April 10th, live at 8 p.m. on the Bombadcast YouTube channel. I will be facing off with Scotty J. Rowe, one-on-one, mano-a-mano, in the same room to seal the fate of Epic Confrontations as Cookie and Cop and I begin our illustrious takeover of this league. After having to fight through just about everybody who's gotten in the way. I dropped Trey Mitchell twice in one match. I took out these schmucks to my right on screen to you. Spencer, I took out Nikeo. I've just been spilling nothing but blood. I finished the Skywalking Through the League set by dropping Bill Sheehy. I've been on a roll. I've been unstoppable.
No, he hasn't. What are you talking about?
Yes, I have.
I've beaten you thoroughly.
And if you want to see that debate settled some more, tune in tomorrow on the Star Wars in a Galaxy YouTube channel to catch the new episode of Epic Confrontations that comes out tomorrow that will feature a undercard matchup between Alden and myself in the Legends continuity, as well as the main event, which is a triple threat between Buck O'Brien, Mo, Jin is my Stardust on Twitter, and Goose from Triad of the Force. So go check all of that good trivia yumminess up. And he's here. Kason, bring on.
Hey.
Kason.
I stalled for the perfect amount of time. So with that, here is how today's stream is going to work. Ladies, gentlemen, and theys. We have a 16 character bracket.
So
Spencer and I.
16. Oh, nice.
Huh?
We're already in the Sweet 16. Nice.
Yep. Spencer and I decided on the characters. There was a little bit of back and forth. We weren't 100% sure who all we were going to use, but we did lock down a nice set. This will all be prequel era Jedi Council members. So if they sat on the council up from the Phantom Menace up to Revenge of the Sith, they are on this bracket. 16 characters. The matchups themselves were decided at random. So when we get to one of these, I promise I was not trying to be funny. That's just how it happened.
Wait, you elaborate on the selection. Is there anybody that almost made it? Just for some audience sizzle.
Who got eliminated in the round of 64?
Yeah, because I know there are some people this year that are really hot on Yaddle. I know there are some people that maybe wanted to see Yariel in there. Like, are there any almosts?
The almost Yariel Poof was an almost.
He was. I specifically mentioned him, and what is it? What is it exactly that you said? You because I also mentioned Evan Peel, and a couple of these. I managed to get Jared to.
Of course, Evan Peel's in this. Of course.
But Jared was like, I'd really prefer to not have a lot of people whose like greatest accomplishment as a member of the council was their death. You think of like somebody who made it onto the bracket just for lulz. But
we wanted to limit it to there's one person whose main feat is how they died. For a moment there.
Hold on. Don't start trying to sway the vote before we give him his due analysis. Right?
You're right. We will give that character their flowers. But for example, because there were some conflicting canon answers, we were trying to figure out if Count Dooku was counted as a canon Jedi Council member. Some sources said yes, some sources said no, and by some sources said yes, some sources said no. I mean, Wikipedia said both.
Fair.
Which was confusing. I had to outsource that to our Discord server. But yeah, so Count Dooku almost made it on. We almost put Yariel on, but we were like, this is going to be a little too hard to manage. I said no to Evan Peel at first, and then we were going to go with Aegon Kolar, and I was like, as fun as it is to just say his name and to acknowledge his existence, we're going to go with Evan Peel instead. I will say what's really funny is that and this is going to be a mild spoiler matchup that we'll get to. Had Count Dooku had that council seat, the matchup in round 1 would have been Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker versus Jedi Master Dooku. Which very nearly happened, but because canonically Count Dooku rejected the offer and then got passed up by Mace, kind of in Tales of the Jedi, it did not, which I was like, oh, that's a shame, because that would have been a fun discussion. But like I said, what's going to be happening here? There's going to be a vote among us. If somebody is not able to decide and somebody abstains from voting and we have a tie, we will consult the chat, and the chat will be the tiebreaker in the event anybody decides to abstain from voting. But I don't think that will be likely, as this is a random, a considerably opinionated bunch we have here.
I would like to remind the group that abstaining could be used strategically. If you see that a potential tie could happen, abstain and then throw it to the chaos. Just saying.
Yes, we also have Eli. I'm sorry, I'm too far away to actually be able to read the chat. I'm pulling it up here. What do you say?
Someone said, "What about the guy below you?"
Oh,
that
yeah,
was before Kason was here.
Yeah,
that was when I was below you. He was talking about how I've beaten you in EC.
Oh, barely.
Oh, okay.
Before we get into this, I just want to say another really cool what if, because you did remind me, Jared. Jedi Master Count Dooku versus Mace Windu.
That would have been another good one. We also have Charlie saying he's calling bullshit. Listen, I plan on doing more of these, so Yariel will get his time in the sun, I promise. Also, Comic Bricks, hello there. Thank you for joining us. Been listening to the channel for about a year, but first time commenting. Well, we're happy to see you here. And if anybody likes the kind of versus content you're going to be seeing tonight, tonight's going to be a more laid back, kind of relaxed fit version of it. But if you're interested in a full-fledged versus series, you'll get an episode a month for $5 on our Patreon. At the $5 tier, you get an episode of the versus series a month. So there's about 30 bonus episodes of about 2-hour-long episodes on our Patreon, exclusive for you guys if you enjoy stuff like this. So I highly recommend checking it out. It is a labor of love that Spencer and I have with the Versus series. So far this year, we have done Lord Starkiller versus Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ahsoka Tano circa the Siege of Mandalore versus Qui-Gon Jinn, Exar Kun versus Mace Windu, and then the matchup coming out on April is going to be Reva versus Kanan Jarrus. So go check all of those out. We got lots of cool stuff coming down the pipeline. It's my favorite show to make. And we are going to jump in here in a second. We got another one from Woodsy. I'm here. I got tired of watching Scotty eat crawfish. I don't blame you. You made the right decision to come to this stream.
That Bayou bastard.
And then man survived Order 66 and served soup on the Death Star. He deserves the respect. I respect the robot chicken joke. But we are going to jump into the bracket here with our first. Oh, and another thing. All of these matchups are going to be taking place on like the patio training room that we see in Obi-Wan Kenobi. So where we see Obi-Wan and Anakin sparring in the flashbacks, that is where all of these fights will be taking place. So it's going to be a nice tight space, and this is going to be mostly a straight up sword fight for the most part. So with all of that said, our first matchup is going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Eth Koth. Spencer, I give you the floor first, sir.
Motion to vote. No.
It'd be like that.
I'm going to keep it brief. I mean, Eth Koth is an accomplished swordsman and an accomplished master of the council, but Obi-Wan, he's got much more experience under his belt, and he's a more accomplished swordsman. Is what I think. Yeah.
What was that? Well, listen. That Eth Koth.
May I speak?
Yes, please, Colin.
Eth Koth, bodied by Vader in the 2017 run. Obi-Wan bodied Vader in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, Obi-Wan also got trounced by Vader in the first go around, but
fair enough. But still, Vader Obi-Wan at his strongest.
We'll get to this later, Eli. That's an interesting take.
Eli's got a lot of interesting takes.
He does have a lot of interesting takes. Listen, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Yes, Obi-Wan takes this, in my opinion, which us going kind of negates further discussion, but we're still going to keep going. Obi-Wan is the master of Surisu with skill in several other different forms. He's a very versatile duelist. He relies on Surisu, all of that stuff. Most people kind of know the drill with how Obi-Wan fights by this point. Koth, also a Surisu practitioner, but he is not the master. And I don't like to normally do the whole like, oh, well, if such and such could beat such and such and such and such beat such and such, then blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
because that logic is typically flawed. However, one of them killed General Grievous and the other one got the shit beat out of him by General Grievous.
Okay, but you see, again, this is why we don't use that logical train in the Versus series, because like Obi-Wan has gotten his teeth kicked out by Grievous several times.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, generally speaking, Obi-Wan's track record against Grievous is much better than Eth's.
His track record of survival and like getting away without being in handcuffs, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Obi-Wan can get away from Grievous just about every time, at the very least. Where Eth, I mean, granted, again, Eth did get jumped, but Obi-Wan's also had the numbers against him before.
That was not a fair fight.
It was far from a fair fight.
It was nowhere close to a fair fight for Eth, but still.
Alden, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi as a general, as a thinker, as a battle-tested mind. Obi-Wan's entire game comes down to beyond form and beyond, force abilities and certain buffs of passion he's had at different moments, be that the death of Qui-Gon or thinking about the twins and the Obi finale. Like, his entire thing is being the tactician. He's the negotiator verbally, but he finds flaws in your game. That's how he beat Grievous finally, was by being able to discern, okay, I can see now the organs. I can see now where the kill shot is. He got it via blaster, but still, I mean, and with Maul, it was also, okay, what's the flaws in your game? It's your arrogance. It's your pride. It's like you think that the high ground is going to benefit you. He's always that kind of thinker. And he has used that thinking against people with some pretty, like, Teflon, like, impenetrable, like, force of nature strategies, presences, things like that. I don't think that Eth has anything that Obi won't be like Bruce Wayning him. Like, I know how to take your ass out. I don't see Eth as having anything a larger than life or deceptive. I don't think Eth has defenses for this guy.
Absolutely, that's a very well put.
Always brings really good analysis.
Always. I also do want to address this question from Charlie. So we're basically during their time on the council. So, like, for example, Koth like kind of left the council during the war. So we're going to take Eth during the Clone Wars. Other than that, pretty much everybody else on this bracket, like Obi-Wan, when Anakin shows up, Revenge of the Sith, Sith for Yoda and Mace as well. But anyone who served in the war, take them as they were during the war, with the exception of the characters who didn't quite make it to the war. If that clears that up. So basically what Eli was saying, that, in their prime, but in their prime during their tenure on the council.
In their prime during their time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry. My monitor's too far away for me to read some of the comments. I keep switching back and forth. But yes, absolutely, Charlie. Happy to clarify that, because that is a very important thing. Very recent, like I said, this year on the Versus series was the first time that we made like a very particular distinction with timeline stuff, where we said it is Ahsoka Tano during the Siege of Mandalore specifically. So very good question from Charlie. Kaysen, your thoughts on this matchup here before we move on?
I mean, yeah, pretty much same as everybody else. I mean, like, obviously, Koth is, like, he's a tenured master and everything. He served in the Clone Wars. Obviously a badass, but, like, Obi-Wan be doing Obi-Wan things, and, like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, Master of Defense. And, like, I liked Alden's take where he said, like, there's nothing that Koth has that he thinks that Obi-Wan wouldn't be, like, Bruce Wayning him on, like, oh, yeah, that's this. Okay, I can do this to counteract that. Get Ben.
Very well put. And in a unanimous agreement, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, I wonder if he's gonna play the clip whenever the winner is decided.
You'd be right. Okay, let me see if I remember how to.
Obi takes this one. Does anyone have a cute, fun idea of how Obi beats him while Jared is figuring this out?
I think it'd be like a solid either disarming or assuming they're using they're fighting for the win, but maybe not necessarily to kill across the board here, since it is all Jedi fighting each other. But they're giving.
I think he hits that. I think he hits that left button. Is it left or right in Battlefront where you do the
left, or you just like bum rush them with the
bum rush?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
For our next matchup, we have Jedi Master Oppo Rancisis versus Coyote Mundi.
This is where we start to really talk.
This is a much more even matchup. Alden, I'll give the floor to you on this one.
Look, the other night I was on TNAP. You might have heard of it. It's a nice channel.
That was actually today you were on TNAP because that episode came out this morning.
Today I was on TNAP, and on that episode, I was talking about how I made a joke, and I referenced it on Twitter as well. My new favorite party topic: where would you like to be during Order 66? You have to be posted with one victim.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be? You're gonna be on Felucia. You're gonna be on Magneto. I would like to point out that during a very high pressure moment, he didn't know Order 66 was happening. But this was a push that had been going on, I think, for weeks, because it's also in the Kanan comics and stuff. He had been on that bridge trying to gain ground for a long ass time, and when push came to shove, my man Key just ran out there with no discernible blocking strategy whatsoever. This man, if he didn't get gunned down by his own guys, and then when he didn't hear footsteps behind him, he was like, "You guys." So, meanwhile, Oppo Rancisis survived Order 66. So there might not be a lot of game tape on how a snake, fights and shit. But we do know that this guy managed to survive all the way into the Imperial era, and as of right now, is still a survivor. There is no death. He's on the list that the Inquisitors have and everything. So I think this guy's durable. I think Oppo has the years and the experience. I mean, besides Yoda, the only person that we're talking about tonight that is a prequel council member and a High Republic council member. This guy's been around. Yes. This guy's seen both eras. And I think that when he sees Key doing some Key shit, he can't even talk to a 9-year-old and make him feel good. He doesn't have what it takes to say cool.
Okay, so we have one vote for Jedi Master Oppo Rancisis. Interesting take. Spencer.
Yeah, I think Oppo is at the natural disadvantage here because we, like Alden said, we don't have any game tape on Oppo. We don't, and for all I know of Oppo Rancisis, he is more the academic than he is the combatant. And going up against somebody like Ki-Adi-Mundi, who has definite and demonstrable mastery of Form 2 with a variant form as well. This is a guy who is much more combatively versatile and viable, in my opinion, than Oppo. And so, in short, I think Oppo is at a disadvantage here inherently because we don't see anything of him really at all.
No.
And so we have to go on. We have to just go on theory for Oppo. He has survived Order 66. He was a council member back in the High Republic era. So this guy's been around a long time. He has a lot of knowledge, but his cataloged mastery of very unusual force abilities makes me think that he is more the Jedi academic than he is the Jedi warrior, whereas Ki-Adi-Mundi has proven himself as a capable combatant. So I'm going to vote for Ki-Adi here.
I think that is an interesting one. And I do want to sweep in now, again, because I don't have as much game tape on Oppo, I'm going to tap into some legends here for a minute. And I would like to address the fact that Oppo Rancisis, while yes, he did not fight Sora Bulk to the death, he did get assassinated. He did have somebody who was able to sneak up on him, break through his guard, and cut him down. Now, again, that doesn't
Sora
leave
Bulk
us...
doesn't matter, though.
It does to me.
It's just got
Who is
Doesn't
that?
matter.
No, I'm kidding. I know you like it.
We're just clones, sir. We're expendable. Not to me.
Me on Plo Koon, just Sora Bulk.
Jared's heart just broke live on air.
It did, honestly. I was like, don't talk that way about my Glup Shitto.
A full 5 seconds of dead airspace.
Honestly,
That was
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, anybody have fun editing, like, Sound of Silence or Mad
memes.
World into that? But no, so I was doing a little bit of research into this. Oppo, user of Form 4 Ataru, which makes sense given his serpentine build, that he's like going to kind of be like adapting a form of Ataru to kind of slither around you with a very dynamic and fluid blade work there. Looking at the comments, I'm sorry. We had we're just innocent men, sir. That's exactly what just happened. So, Oppo has one engagement that ended with him dying. Again, using legends, using a little hybrid here. There's no reason to assume that any of that would not be disparate, really. Alden, you gave great examples, and yes, Coyote Mundi is very headstrong. He does rush into combat. However, Coyote Mundi, again, this is touching on a little bit of legends, but you can meld it here a little bit. Relaxed fit here. Coyote Mundi survived an engagement with General Grievous and arguably fought him to a standstill. And if Coyote Mundi can handle dealing with the omnidirectional onslaught from Grievous, I think he'll be able to handle the, again, like kind of serpentine, slithery nature of Oppo kind of coming up around. Now, where I think Coyote Mundi might get into some danger is Oppo Rancisis' ability to do all the weird shit where he's like able to mess with your equilibrium and make you woozy and make you lose your balance.
But again,
even then, Coyote Mundi fought
does that
Grievous
take to...
while wounded.
Yeah. Like how much time is it going to take for Oppo to focus on those kind of weird academic force powers? Like, yeah, you can do it, but is it practical in a combative sense?
Yeah. So that's my take. So we have a vote for Oppo, 2 votes for Coyote Mundi. Connor?
Oppo. I just quickly read up on his legend stuff. I was like, yeah, it seems like he could beat Coyote Mundi.
All right, we have a stalemate here, which means, Kaysen, you're either going to be the deciding vote or you can abstain and throw it to the chat.
Listen, I was about to say, why do y'all keep putting me last? Because I am the intern. I was listening to all you guys, and I was like, oh, okay, there's 1 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2, and I was like, oh, damn, I'm the tiebreaker.
Thank you, Sean.
I'm not as familiar with like the legend stuff as all of you guys are, so I'm like, I same thing as like Spencer and like you said, Jared, with like there's not a whole lot of film on Oppo, so like I don't know a whole lot about him, but like just from listening to what you guys have said, I want to say Coyote Mundi, like similar reasons, like he's proven himself in battle, and like I kind of looked up Oppo real quick too, and like everything that I was reading also was like, yeah, he was very wise. He was very wise. Eli. He was very, very wise. And I was like, okay, but where does he kick ass? And they were like, he was very wise.
So is that going to be a vote for Coyote Mundi?
Vote for Coyote Mundi, yeah.
All right.
Bullshit.
I will say,
bullshit. Oppo's robbed.
Almost been snubbed.
I will say, Alden, you did almost win me over.
It was a very good argument.
Oppo debate.
I will say that.
You had a very good argument.
I had no argument.
Master
Well, yeah, but you were on that side though.
Fair enough.
All right. Round 2 is going to be an interesting first matchup. Moving on to our next one. This is the matchup that I said off air we could have done a whole episode about. Yoda versus Shock T.
It would have been a fun time. In fact, we might just have to tuck that one away for later.
I don't know what I'm going to vote on this one,
I just said,
actually.
never mind. Take it out.
I find it so interesting that everyone here thinks that this is close in any way.
Oh
Yoda.
Jesus! Are you about to do some Yoda apologia on my live stream?
Apology? No, I don't apologize.
Are you about to start kissing ass for Eli because it's so on the record that I have beef with Yoda?
Yoda defeats Shock pretty handedly. I mean, like this guy got. I mean, again, we don't want to do the he dueled this person and blah blah blah. Like, you know, it's hard sometimes to go down that path. But it's like Shock was bested by Grievous. Meanwhile, Yoda had Palpatine. Yoda, way past his heyday, had Palpatine down to a battle of attrition, of exhaustion, where he just walked. Like, it wasn't like Palpatine did not beat Yoda. Yoda left. And like Yoda is of a power that is like only a planetary force of darkness in Dagobah could mask the fact that this man was around. Like, meanwhile, Shock is like, you know, some Magna Guards and everything can take her out pretty easily.
She looked great while doing it, though. I will say that. Like, that shit and that stuff in 2003 Clone Wars, sensational.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. You gotta let me know when you need it, Connor.
Sensational.
Yeah, I mean, like, Yoda's Yoda. Come on. Like, this man's speed, this man's agility, this man being able to train some of the greatest swordsmen, including Dooku, who would have definitely taken this bracket by storm in a lot of ways, I'm sure. Shaak Ti's great. She's really, really great. But she's, you know, kind of kid shit, I think, to somebody that is Yoda's level.
I am going to acknowledge everything Alden's saying, but Eli, you are on crack. Just cracked out of your mind if you're going to look me in the eyes and say that he lost by a hair.
He didn't lose.
Sidious beat him. Sidious defeated Yoda.
Sidious is hanging by his hands, dangling in the air when Yoda decides, I'm going to leave. How is that?
He disarmed. I mean, they both disarm each other, but Sidious handily ended that fight when he sent Yoda plummeting to the floor of the Senate arena.
Okay, but he's hanging there too. So he fell and hit the ground floor, and that's a loss. He's Yoda. What if he leaps back up?
Palpatine's like looking around like, did I get him? Where is he? As he's laughing maniacally, and Yoda barely gets himself on his feet and retreats back and calls for help. Like, I'm sorry, Alden. I gotta be with Jared on this one.
That is a choice. That is a choice to leave.
Sure, he made the choice to leave. And by doing so, he lost because he did not re-engage. He lost. Yoda left because he knew he was going to die.
That's not why he left. He left because it makes no sense at that point to continue the cycle of violence when they have to continue to fight another day. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he will die in that fight. Why take the chance?
Okay, line of thought. If Yoda thinks I can end all this right now and I can do it, like I'm not.
Which is why he's there in the first place, mind you.
Why he's there in the first place. Yoda is totally going to take Palpatine out if he thinks he's able to. Forget like the cycle of violence stuff, like the live to fight another day stuff. He's like, if I can beat him now, this is what it's all building up to. I'm going to beat him now.
Sure, but he's also got he's in the middle of also.
Time out for Woodsy spelling it like Shaq.
I love that. That took me. That threw me. I saw Shaq and I was like, wait, what does that comment say? Hold on. Yoda is trying to make strategic moves at that same time. And also, it should be noted, as Eli said in the comment that you unfairly shit on, Eli made a great point. He has just had a negative debuff of the deaths of about 990 people. Or 9,990 people.
Valid.
But yeah.
And if
Somebody,
if you're talking about
Charlie,
Prime-
get to work right now. I know you're watching, Charlie, right now.
Jack P. He's doing it right now. I guarantee you. It's like the fact that like we're talking about, as we established already, primes from their council time. That means we're looking at Yoda, arguably beginning of Attack of the Clones, or Attack of the Clones when he basically shows up and embarrasses Dooku, and Dooku has to do fuck shit to get away. Like that's the Yoda that we're talking about. Versus Shock, what Shock Prime are we talking about? What feat are we talking about here?
We're dealing with a Shock T who, again, using kind of an amalgamation of things, using the stuff that directly contradict with itself. She is a master of both Form 2 and Form 4. She kind of has this. She has the same chosen martial arts as Coyote Mundi. She just uses them differently. So where
and better, I'll give her that. She's better than him.
Yeah, she's incredible. Many of the council members circle Legends high Shock T in the highest regard. There's a reason why in The Force Unleashed, Vader's like, hey, she's the only Jedi Council member we know of left, and you're probably gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she is a legendary member of the council. Again, like she didn't die fighting Grievous. And during the Clone War, as much as as mustache twirly as Grievous is in canon, I classify surviving or beating Grievous as the same level, not to the same level, but I qualify surviving him in the same way that I call surviving Vader a feat. That's something we do on the Versus series all the time. If somebody fought Vader and didn't die, that is listed as a feat.
Yeah.
Cal Kestis, notable kills, feats, and victories. Survived Darth Vader.
Let it be known that Jared Bachman J. Gray Jedi Stubbs just went on the record and said that surviving Vader and surviving Grievous are comparable because he is that just hell bent on his anti-Yoda agenda.
Okay, wait, Alden. Hold on a second. I got to respond to you on this one. Okay, we're talking about We're talking about two very different time frames. Okay, when you are a Clone Wars era Jedi, surviving Grievous is a similar feat to. Okay, you have already survived.
Oh no, not the Thawbor glasses.
You have already survived Order 66, and now you have survived one of the greatest Jedi killers of all time. To survive Order 66 is to already put yourself on a platform above. So yes, surviving Grievous on this level in the Clone Wars is one thing, but surviving Order 66 and then surviving Vader, comparably, you would assume that anybody who survives Order 66 has to be on a level of skill that is putting them a level above. So yes.
Yeah,
Vader
but she
is a level
didn't.
above Grievous,
But she
obviously.
didn't. And she did not survive
However-
Order 66. Yoda did.
Barely.
Who?
He ran away.
Even if we gave her the best 2 out of 3, 2 of her deaths, she doesn't make it. 1 does, and then she gets beaten by Vader's apprentice, someone who is beneath both fighters that we're talking about.
I think he's above Grievous. However, we're gonna let that one slide for now. We got bigger fish to fry.
All of that to say, and this is the frustrating thing. This is my epic confrontations. Nobody gives me my time. Everybody makes assumptions about me. I was going to say that Yoda would win. I think Yoda wins.
I don't know, man. I think
he does not. He does not dog walk. One of
Jen,
one of
Jared,
the highest rated council members.
You
She
should
is
check
right
the
up
comments.
there.
There's a really cool versus one. I think that Jen put in the comments. That's a really good one. It's like the
Shock T versus Ventress. That would be cool. I do like that idea. Eileen, yeah, that is a solid suggestion. I would lean Ventress off the top of my head because Ventress is also a machine. Ventress does not get her flowers. Ventress does not get the respect put on her name that she deserves. I think Ventress, not unlike Darth Maul, could probably handle 95% of the Jedi Order on a good day. Like if you were to do it the way I talked about it on the Versus series very recently was if you put Darth Maul in a situation where it was like an arcade mode in a fighting game where like you kind of fight everybody on the roster, but at the beginning of each one your health is refreshed, blah blah blah. I think Darth Maul could take out like a hysterical amount of Jedi and would only start to falter once he hit the upper echelons of the council. Like once you start hitting that wall of like Mace and Yoda, Obi-Wan, you know, he's beaten Obi-Wan, he's lost to Obi-Wan. That's kind of a toss-up depending on the era. Anakin, like there's a brick wall that Maul will hit really hard of people that he cannot take. And I think a similar situation is true of Ventress, where I think she is going to just cleave through a hot knife through butter on most of the order. Then she's going to hit a very hard brick wall, and it's the people we see her lose to pretty consistently. But no, I do think Yoda has the acumen to defeat Shakti. I think the biggest issue Yoda will have here is that Yoda, in the way that he fights, he's kind of like pumping nitrous oxide into the engine. You know, he's using so much of his force ability on the physical augmentation to fight the way that he does. So it limits his, you know, viability in the moment. It's why that, you know, Sidious disarming him kind of would have been a blessing in disguise, because at that point, Yoda, it's just a force fight. It's just a magic duel, you know. So in some ways, I think that's one of Sidious's biggest blunders tactically, is that he disarmed Yoda and made it a situation where they had to use the force on each other. I think Yoda will kind of be winded in the same way that he's kind of catching his breath after the fight with Count Dooku. But I do think he will pull out a win here, but it's going to be nowhere near as cut and dry as Mr. Diaz says. Kaysen, I'm going to throw to you now, sir.
I mean, I think Yoda wins. But look, I mean, same thing.
That's fucked up, Charlie.
Shaq TV 90 Force 99. That's funny.
No. Clone Trooper 99, the old Hunchback one.
Oh,
I thought that said Clone Force 99 when I clicked on it too.
Clone Force 99 might go on for a few minutes. Yeah, the other one.
We should just kick Charlie for that comment. No, that's bad. I don't like that.
Eli, I think you're forgetting the other people who are on the fucking Jedi Council.
Eli, I went hard for Yoda this round, and I can't endorse that.
Yeah, basically same deal. Like pretty much everybody else said, it's like obviously like Shaq T's great and everything, but Yoda, same thing as Obi-Wan versus Eth Koth, but like Yoda do be Yoda, and like there are very few people I feel that could stop him. Like very, very few, close to none.
All right. Connor, I think I know how you weigh in on this one.
The green guy.
The green guy. All right. Well,
wait, did Spencer vote?
I love Shock T, but the green guy.
I thought Spencer did vote. Spencer, did you give your vote?
I mostly voted against Alden. just but
you guys started jawing at each other, and I was convinced you already voted.
No, I think Yoda wins. I don't think it's a cakewalk like a lot of people assume it is. Like Shock is a force to be reckoned with, but we are still talking about Yoda here. So I'm voting Yoda.
Wow. So all of that malarkey just for a Yoda.
Okay, Joe. Okay, Joe.
Let's move on to the next one.
I refuse to be complicit in your flawed premises, Alden.
Insane.
I will push back on principle, even if I agree with you.
Maybe I'll walk out of here tomorrow and you never see me again. That's really what I want to do.
I will never ever stop laughing at the slow brass in the back. It's so funny. It just brings me so much joy. I respect that, Spencer. You're already. I like you a lot more than Jared right now. Just for that arguing. Jared is so biased against you. Jared is a globalist who just hates Yoda.
Can we just move on?
Well, hold on. We got some comments. We got a funny one. Hulk is a different franchise. You are correct.
Correct.
I want to be like, come on, man. Shakti, Corn Pops, bad dude.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Kason did the Joe eyes and everything.
Yeah, dude. Gotta give him the whole thing. I got hairy legs.
I'm gonna be a white boy. That doesn't mean I'm stupid. Fucking, I want that tattooed on my body.
Tramp stamp for sure.
Yeah. Oh
Hell
my
yeah.
god, that's gonna be an Instagram caption here soon. I might be a white boy, but I'm not stupid. Our next matchup, this one I think is pretty easy. We have Jedi Masters Kit Fisto versus Adi Gallia. I will go first on this one. I think Adi Gallia is a respectable Jedi in her own right. She served valiantly in the Clone Wars. She's helped rescue Eve Koth, obviously, another Jedi we've already talked about. However, Adi Gallia is not, in my opinion, the celebrated swords being that Kit Fisto is. Kit Fisto is, in the same way that Obi-Wan Kenobi is the physical embodiment of Form 3 Sarisu, pardon my hiccups, and everything that it can be. Kit Fisto is the zenith of what can be done with Form 1 Shicho. Kit Fisto, it has such a mastery of Shicho that the fighting style designed to be used to fight multiple opponents at once, he was able to perfectly hone to use that specific skill set in an attempt to fight Grievous in the way he would fight multiple people at once. He is smart. He is strategic. I like his ability to use the Force in combat a lot better. I am leaning Kit Fisto all the way here.
As you should.
Also, Adi Gallia, again, I'm really trying to avoid using people whose best feat is dying. Adi Gallia, most wild death in the Clone Wars.
Pretty bad.
She has that going for her.
She is at least in the top 5, if not the winner.
I feel so bad for her, dude.
Look,
she deserved better.
It's typical of Jared Bachman Stubbs to profile like this and put the tentacle heads together in one round so he can eliminate one of them.
Good God, Alden. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ.
Can we not do this?
I'm just saying. Don't silence me for pointing out.
I'm just saying.
I'm sick of being called a grifter. I'm sick.
I never saw that one before.
I get to use it as much as I like to.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's hard to argue against Kit here. I mean,
Dude, Roger Stone has such like a Muppet as like a Muppet face in the most negative way possible.
No, he does.
Roger Stone has a hard case of Muppet face, and he looks like he's dressed by Oswald Cobblepot.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
He looks like a Batman. He looks like a Batman, like not the main villain, but like one of those like tertiary villains,
like a Falcone or a Maroni.
Like Batman would just go up to him, and Roger Stone would be like, Batman would just be like,
"It's the bat."
Dude, literally just done.
It's the bat.
Yeah.
All right, so I vote Kit Fisto. Kason, Adi Gallia v. Kit Fisto. Your take?
I fell in love with Kit Fisto originally from the Lego Star Wars game. I had seen the prequels and everything to that point, but the Lego Star Wars game is where I really fell in love with Kit Fisto. Once I got him unlocked in free play, I played him all the damn time.
Good take. Good
Thank
vibes
you.
from Kason. As always.
Yeah, so I feel like these are all gonna be the same for me, where it's like same thing. It's like, obviously I don't think Adi Gallia is like terrible or anything, but like Kit Fisto is that green dude aside from Yoda. He's the green dude. He looks like he got green dreads instead of big green ears.
Listen, if we're talking about who's that green dude, Kit Fisto is him. Kit Fisto is him. Kit Fisto.
Dog.
Yeah. Kit Himothy.
Him and Neutron.
Oh my god.
Kit H Fisto, and the H stands for Himothy. Let's go.
Oh man, I like this one. Kit would riz up Adi Gallia 100%.
I mean,
also
I
Eli
wouldn't
brought
blame
up a
him.
good point, which again,
would
like
not.
the A beats B, but C equals blah blah blah. I don't like to do that, but when it's the same opponent, I think it is a little bit more valid of a comparison. And this is a good point. Adigalia in Legends was killed by General Grievous. And for what it's worth, I don't see Kit Fisto losing to Savage Opress.
I still think that's horribly flawed logic. However,
I'm just saying, in equal, all things being equal, I think Kit Fisto outlasts Adi in that kind of situation. So I vote Kit. Kaysen, you're voting Kit.
Yes.
Connor, Adigalia or Kit Fisto?
They're both cool. I gotta go with Kit Fisto because, I just feel like in a one-on-one fight, it'd be a good fight, but I think Kit Fisto would come out on top. Not easily, but it wouldn't be razor thin close.
Yeah, comfortably.
I also love Woody's comment. That was great. It's just,
oh my god, yeah.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like to, you guys are the scholars of the details of the forms, and I think about these things in a very mental way, in terms of, not that you don't, obviously, I mean, in world, their mentality. And I think it should be noted for every Kit Fisto duel ever that he has something that really only him and Obi-Wan Kenobi and maybe Ezra Bridger have, and that's that he and Anakin at a time, he loves this shit. Kit Fisto thrives in this. He does not. He's not someone who's brushing up against darkness or having to contest with rage or having to worry about fear or he is a swashbuckler. He loves his job. You're not going to shake him. He will smile at her while she's giving her best. And how do you deal with that? That he's a special type of combatant. There's only a handful of people that really thrive in an environment like this.
All right, so we're getting a vote for Kit then from Alden as well.
That's right.
He will smile at her while she's giving her best.
Alden out here writing the most unhinged Kit Fisto fanfic.
Look, man.
Yeah,
Spencer, your take here.
I got to give it to Kit here. I mean, again, just because I think Adigalia is close to falling into a similar category where the most remarkable thing about her in the Clone Wars, at least, was the fact that she got speared by Savage Opress's head. But I've been rewatching Clone Wars, and during the season 4, the droid arcs where C-3PO and R2-D2 do their Wizard of Oz kind of crap, we forget that they're on a ship that's attacked by Grievous, and we see Adigalia fighting Grievous, and then in the next episode she's still alive after fighting Grievous. So she's no slouch. We have to agree, Adigalia is no slouch.
Absolutely.
But Kit is just he is a force unto himself. I got to give it to Kit.
Kit Fisto be built different. Getting to my favorite character on this list. We have our next matchup. Anakin Skywalker versus Evan Peel.
Bruh.
Can I just say, can I go first?
Please, Connor. Before Alden says whatever horrible shit he has in the chamber right now.
Anakin. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Enough said.
Oh, we got an interesting
I really like how Connor was like, "Can I go first?" and got the full screen, and then was just one word, Anakin.
That's all I need.
Mic drop. That's it.
That's it. Anakin Skywalker.
All right, Alden. Alden, it's your turn to cook.
I don't even have. I don't know how you assumed I had horrible shit to say. I don't.
I thought you were going to say some cursed shit the way you just started laughing hysterically at the.
No, it's just because
No.
It's just I think about the victory celebration or the Peace Orb celebration at the end of Phantom Menace, and how Evan Peel was there while little 9-year-old Anakin with his fresh cut is standing right there trying to rizz up a 14-year-old girl. And he's it's like Evan Peele standing right there. It's like that 9-year-old would body this man in any continuity, any planet, any setting, anything. Like Anakin Skywalker would like triangle ability the shit out of this man. He could Anakin Skywalker, I feel like could pull the shit that he pulls with Reva, where he just dodges and then throws a saber down as if to say, actually try. Like, there's no chance on earth that Evan Peele beats Anakin Skywalker.
I am inclined to agree with you. So we're just going to call that 3 votes for Anakin Skywalker. Kason, how do you feel about a little Russian Yoda?
Little Russian one-eyed Yoda.
On that note, it depends. Is he showing up in Jedi robes or a tracksuit? If he shows up in a tracksuit, it might be over.
That's true. It might be very different.
Oh my gosh.
Anakin. Anakin, obviously.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
Yes, that was really fucking funny, Kason. Spencer, Anakin versus Evan Peele.
I love Evan Peele. If we get a season 2 of Tales of the Jedi, I have made it very clearly known that I hope Evan Peele gets his flowers in season 2. And Tarkin in the novelization, he even noted that Evan Peele was an exceptional lightsaber combatant. But I mean, come on. I love the guy. We gotta again say like he's no slouch, but come on. We got to give it to Anakin here.
Yeah. I am. That is another unanimous one here for Anakin Skywalker, the hero with no fear. Moving on to round 2. Now it is time for a Jedi who everybody loves these days. We have Jedi Master Yaddle versus Saesee Tiin.
Ooh.
And I will go first here. And I will say, very handedly, Yaddle is taking this. Yaddle is bagging this. Yaddle, maybe she didn't win. But Yaddle fought Count Dooku just about as well as anybody we've seen fight Dooku. Despite not being able to, bring home the bacon at the end of the day. Most people don't against Count Dooku. I am leaning Yaddle here. I think that, Saesee, he's a master of Form 1. He's a very cerebral Jedi, but he's a pilot by trade. He's not a frontline kind of guy. Again, nobody on this list is a slouch. Well, maybe one of them. Most of the people on this list isn't a slouch. All of them are Jedi Council members for a reason. All of them are Jedi generals for a reason, except for Yaddle, who, of course, does not make it to the war. But I have to go Yaddle for this one. Connor.
Yeah, Yaddle. We saw what she did in Tales of the Jedi. I don't think Saesee Tiin could do that. Yaddle.
Oh, it's saucy. Like he's got a little.
That's how I've always heard it in my head, growing up. So I just kind of default to that, unfortunately. But now I know, okay, it's Saesee.
Yeah, I have the Obi-Wan game, which is why there's a Jedi on here who I had to train to not say it the way the Obi-Wan game said it, because in Obi-Wan, when you picked her in Jedi Arena, the announcer said "Deepa Bilapa." But many extra syllables in there, and he said it just like that.
Bad. That's bad.
But makes me happy to hear it.
It's the Huttese version.
Is it Huttese?
Fuck the Huttese, man.
Spencer, your take here.
Oh man, I don't know. I think Saesee is deservedly on the council. He has earned his spot like threefold he has earned his spot on the council. But again, like, we don't see much of him, and what we see of him isn't that impressive. But again, like, consider his opponent at the time. Whereas we get to see a little bit more of the nitty gritty from Yaddle in Tales of the Jedi, and she's crafty. I mean, if you watch her form, if you watch her strategy, she is a crafty duelist, and I think she can outmaneuver just about anybody. And so I got to give it to Yaddle, as much as I love my boy.
Same.
Yaddle takes it.
All right. Kaysen, Yaddle versus Stacey Tin. If you're speaking, we cannot hear you, sir.
Yeah, you're muted, Kaysen.
Thank you.
No.
Obviously, I think Yaddle takes it, just like everybody else. Stacey Tin, though, like you guys said, nobody on here is like a total slouch or anything, really. Stacey Tin was with the group that did go to arrest Palpatine, so like Mace Windu was like, okay, you should be fine here.
Mace picked him for a reason. That is a very good point.
Right. Mace picked him for a reason. Obviously didn't end well for anybody there, but you know. But yeah, and then Yaddle, like we saw in Tales of the Jedi, like she has like a similar fighting style to it, and all over the place, and just like, hey, I'm over here, I'm doing flips and shit.
Do a flip.
Do a flip.
Yeah,
do a barrel roll.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, like outmaneuverability, like easy mode.
Absolutely.
Whoa, hold on, I didn't get to make an argument.
Oh, you didn't yet? I'm sorry, Alden. Who are you voting on?
Yaddle bodies, Stacey Tin. I'm just doing
this. Wait a minute, Alden. I apologize. I didn't mean to disenfranchise you, buddy.
No, I would like to say though, not to poke old wounds from like 15 minutes ago, but the fact that this was considered to be a dog walking from Yaddle, this to me is closer than Shock Yoda.
Check my DMs for a surprise.
Oh Christ!
Don't do it.
Oh, is it Shaq? Is it Shaq T?
I really hope it's Shaq T.
What is this?
That's so cursed. Oh my fucking God.
Do not show it.
Oh my Christ.
You got it. You got it.
Oh, everybody vamp so I can upload this to our StreamYard. Oh my God.
Well, Alden was speaking and saying good things.
Yeah, keep speaking and saying good things.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, you know, when I suggested that Yoda would handily beat Shock, I was booed and dragged through the streets. And then we come to Yaddle Stacey, and all of a sudden Yaddle handedly beats him. I feel like this is a closer match than Yoda.
How
Shock.
come? I'm curious.
I feel like Stacey, you know, when you look at sort of the presence of the martial presence of the four guys that went to arrest Palpatine, you know, that's one of those things where it's like there has to be whatever the filmic equivalent of like ludonarrative distance is, because we know that like that's not the choreography they wanted, that's not representative of any character that's present there that not named Mace Windu. I feel like, you know, Yaddle Dooku, this is also not Dooku with dark side buffs. Like, this is him, you know, he's still amazing, still incredible, but I feel like that's closer than Yoda at the peak of his power. You know, not that we're talking Yoda Yaddle here, but it's like Yoda's Yoda and Yaddle's Yaddle, and Yaddle is amazing, but like Yoda is the Grandmaster and had been for centuries. Him versus, you know, a master of the prequel era versus, you know, Yaddle versus a non-council member of the previous era feels, you know.
I think there's a lot to what you're saying, Alden. I mean, if we look at Dooku during Tales of the Jedi, he is like in a really fragile emotional spot. Like he's heartbroken by the fact that the Order has been sliding slowly toward what he sees as a very dark place. And also he's heartbroken by the fact that choosing a side means betraying what has been his family for his whole life. And so I don't think that Dooku is fighting as hard as he does circa Clone Wars, once he is fully submitted to the dark side and fighting with all of the power that the dark side is able to give him. And so I think that's a good point. I mean, Yaddle is a very crafty fighter.
Oh, absolutely.
But you're right. Like if you were Mace Windu choosing your lineup, you'd be limited by who was in the temple at the time.
Who's of course that's the thing. That's the eternal question about that scene.
Who's in the building?
I was talking to Nikki Kumar about this before the stream, and we talked about how the Mace, arrest lineup will come up in all council conversations of talking about battles and things.
Yeah.
But was that best period or best available? Because you got to think, if Mace could pick anyone,
that's a good point.
It's probably Mace, Obi-Wan Kenobi. If Yoda let's say Yoda sits it out, he can, watch the house. It'd be Mace, Obi-Wan, Plo, and maybe Cinderella is probably what you end up with.
I see. Then I'm going to explain to you exactly. This is why I hold Shakti in such high regard. I think you should take Shock.
Maybe. Yeah.
I really think she has that centeredness to her. I trust her martial acumen to be able to handle that. And I interrupt this very important conversation. I promise I didn't say Shock just to be a segue to this.
Oh
no. It's so disappointing. Not that it's bad. It's very good. It's just the concept disappoints me.
Oh, I'm just gonna make everybody look at this for a little bit. Everyone's just gonna look at this. I want everybody to reflect on Shaq T.
Hey, while Shaq T's on the screen, don't forget the Papa John's. Yeah. Papa John's got them new pizza things.
I can't stop looking at the white spots around his eyes. I say I very much mean it.
Whatever that is.
It's fucking hypnotic.
Oh no, when it came back.
No, make it stop.
Thank you, Charlie. I will be jump scaring people with Shaq T from now on. Oh, that's so fucking funny. Okay. Yaddle wins that. Now for the toughest matchup on this list, we have the Master of the Order. Arguably one of, if not the greatest swordsman that the Jedi Order has ever produced. The creator of Vapad. The first Jedi in centuries to master Form 7 Juya. Mace Windu. Versus the Force's favorite idiot. Coleman Trevor.
Robert Coleman. Oh, sorry.
Now,
Coleman sweep. Coleman sweep.
Alden, I'm going to full screen you and I'm going to let you cook before anybody else speaks on this one.
Look, history has not been kind to Master Trevor.
Yeah,
Anton Gallia. I forgot about Anton Gallia.
Yeah, Jedi Master Anton Gallia. Yeah, that's right. History has not been kind to Coleman. You know what? I understand that. Quite frankly, none of us have been kind to Coleman Trevor. But let's really think about it. Coleman engaged Count Dooku in the Petronaki Arena, or attempted to, and was gunned down unceremoniously by somebody with no respect for the rules of engagement. Somebody who had left behind any honor that they once had as a foundling, Jango Fett. We're talking about what happens one-on-one with the engagement of two duelists. We're talking about a man with 360-degree vision biologically. We're talking about a man who had the balls to try to end the war before it began. This man was on the front line. This man does not brush with rage the same way that Mace Windu does. He'll be able to see all of Mace's moves coming I feel like Coleman Trevor, this is his time. The Force might believe that he's an idiot, but the Force also believes in underdogs. I don't know. I think we're all ready to be like, oh, Mace so quickly, but there's a conversation to be had here for Coleman Trevor. He's also a dinosaur, which is very cool. I don't know, guys.
This is a bit. I can feel it.
It's not a bit. I'm just saying. Like, I'm
You
just
see
saying.
the audio clip of Alden against him.
It's not a bit.
I had to do it. It's just for the jokes of it. I didn't really mean that, but like it was too good to not use.
Coleman Trevor might have gotten shot down by Jango Fett, but you gotta understand, he was internalizing the darkness of the first time the Jedi had to engage in a war, a brewing war scenario like that, where the creation of an army was just approved. Their entire role had just been changed. They're all emotionally thrown. Probably the Force is in the most flux it's probably been in since the Nameless and the Nile were running wild. And this man was internalizing all of that. And he gets shot because Dooku was being cowardly and had a Mandalorian do his business for him. Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
This doesn't win.
May I speak my answer?
Coleman loses.
Sensational.
Alden,
I love him.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Yes.
May I speak my answer?
Please, Connor.
Yeah, it's Mace Windu.
This party's over.
That's all that needs to be said. To me.
Yeah. This is right.
Charlie, guess what? 0-2. History
Connor,
doesn't lie.
Guess what? Shaq T.
Okay, cool. Shaq T doesn't,
I'm so glad, I've always wanted to have something even half as cursed as 90% of the shit that's on the Bombadcast restream. And like, ever since they started doing the whole take a knee for Mazamita and Gyarados bit, I started sincerely questioning whether or not we'd have something even half as cursed as that. And Charlie Ashby came through
with
something that I get afraid to click on every time I've done it. I have to make a mental calculus if I want to endure the psychic damage I'm inflicting on myself by looking Shaq T in the eyes. Kaysen.
Yes.
Your take here.
Alden, what you said was beautiful.
Thank you.
Mace Windu wins.
Old and sweet.
Bro, his lightsaber says bad motherfucker on it. Like what? Dinosaur, bad motherfucker,
Charlie, I'm pretty sure that whole process was extremely painful of me.
Yeah. When Charlie made that, he made a Horcrux. You can't kill Charlie Ashby until you delete every single copy of Shaq T that will be on the internet from this point forward. Spencer, your take here.
You guys have heard me. I am an advocate for the losers to remind us all that they are accomplished and worthy of our respect. But I got nothing to say for Coleman. I'm sorry.
Spencer's out here in these streets saying "fuck the dinosaurs."
Yeah, dinosaurs are made up. No, I mean, I'm kidding.
Yeah, just like Coleman Trevor's victory.
What a heel turn from Spencer.
Oh,
I
no.
don't believe in dinosaurs. Oh my god.
I do believe in dinosaurs, but I'm sorry. Coleman
Not in this
dog.
one.
Nah, dog.
God, you guys, we're just gonna hand Mace everything.
No.
Yes.
We're not gonna hand
Because
Mace
he's one of the
everything.
goats.
Yes.
Everyone has their day.
I looked at
Coleman
this.
Trevor didn't have a day.
I looked at this whenever I like randomized it and got this lineup, and I out loud went, "Oh, that's not fair.
It's so mean.
That's not fair." But
It's Krusty Krab unfair.
Mace Windu is in there.
In there.
Using Vapad, carving this guy up.
Wait, so hold on. I have a nerd question because maybe I'm an idiot. I thought that Vapad was 7.
So Juya is the ferocity form.
Right.
Mace
7.
Windu, now because the ferocity form by sheer virtue of its requirement of just putting your whole ass into that combat, letting go, like letting
His
the
whole
force,
Windussy.
his whole
don't,
Windussy.
please. Oh God.
I was gonna wait to see if Alden was gonna say it because I didn't want to be the one to do it. But yeah, so with Form 7, like because it kind of requires such reckless abandon, it was forbidden by the Jedi. Mace Windu was the first person who, like, the Order recognized as being so in control of himself on a martial level that he could begin to experiment with the form. And he created the variant of it called Vapad, where
it's a
instead
variant. Okay.
yeah, so it's hard to explain because basically with Vapad, it is Form 7, but with like a different philosophical twinge to it, and like a force edge to it, where it is not so much that you are tapping into those dark side emotions.
You're like drawing it, right?
You're drawing on the other person's.
Yeah.
It's like force jujitsu. Like
Right.
you are redirecting the dark energy of your opponent onto them. And I would like everybody to know that
you're
just
doing
now
Uncle Iroh catching lightning.
Yeah.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
And I would like everybody to know that instead of saying force jujitsu or Uncle Iroh, I spent about 5 minutes in the most recent episode of the Versus series trying to describe it. And that either of those turns of phrase never came to me. And now it's exactly how we're going to describe it from now on with Vapad.
Yes, we are.
You know, so just on that level alone, like Mace has a level of martial acumen that is head and shoulders above most of the greats of any era, of any faction, of any, force delineation. So if you're going to go head to head with Mace Windu, you got to be bringing the heat. And Coleman Trevor, a Form 3 specialist with 360-degree vision who got shot dead point blank range.
Not even point blank. There's mid range. Makes it even worse. And Django doesn't even take a step.
Give it up, Alden. Come on, man.
Oh god, it's pretty funny.
It is. It is.
I will say, I know off air we've talked a little bit about what if Dooku versus Porter Angle? What if Dooku versus Porter Angle? I feel like maybe Mace versus Porter Angle. We'll talk about that though.
That's another one. That's another. I mean, I will say Count Dooku versus Porter Angle is not only is that going to be an episode of the Versus series, it is one that we are going to be releasing to the public as a little teaser to whet y'all's appetite to maybe want to subscribe to the $5 tier.
Wait, Mace or Dooku?
Dooku versus
Dooku
Porter.
and Porter. Yeah, Dooku and Porter.
But
That's going to go on for days. That's going to go on until someone's exhausted.
Count Dooku versus Porter Angle is going to be like a slightly edgier version of the Wesley Inigo Montoya fight, but with lightsabers. But oh man, that's so fun.
Man,
all right, guys, who's ready to watch Connor and Spencer fight?
I am.
Me. I will never fight Connor.
Plo Koon versus Depa Balaba. Spencer, I'll let you go first.
Okay, all right. Plo Koon is cited to have been what was the phrase? He was bested only by Yoda, like he was mastered only by Yoda and equaled only by Mace Windu in terms of his swordsmanship by the time of the Clone Wars. This is a guy who is incredibly accomplished as a swordsman, as a force user. he essentially is able to utilize the dark side the light side version of Force Lightning. He is kind of like Porter Engle. We've talked about Porter Engle a lot philosophically in the Versus series because he's such an interesting character. And we have used Porter Engle to describe Plo Koon. Like, Plo Koon has a deep sense of justice in the same way that, like, the novelization says that Porter Engle, or I guess it's just a novel. It's not a novelization. It's just a novel. But
we talk about novelizations of movies so often that is the second time you did that with a book. You did that with Tarkin earlier.
So I did. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just mention it, but you called attention to it.
It's just a novel. But yeah, but like it says, Porter Engle wasn't angry. He wasn't he was just certain. He was certain that injustice had been committed, and he was certain that justice would be served. And that is exactly the same mentality Plo has. He is going to start this fight. He's going to finish it. He is going to finish you off. Sorry, Depa. Plo Koon is going to end you. I love you, Connor. Nothing personal. Plo Koon walks away with this.
Did Spencer? Is Spencer like? What did you study?
History. Like academically?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a history major.
Were you like? Did you do like Lincoln Douglas debate and shit? You got that energy?
No. We've just been doing this long enough, I guess.
Spencer,
Alden, he's just been friends with me his whole life.
Spencer's
So
my kind of nerd. My kid came in hot, ruthless, didn't care who his friends were, just started smacking people around.
I was like, "There's no way that you can turn me against Connor." And it's like Plo Koon versus Depa. Oh no, Connor, you're going down.
Oh no.
Hey, we're friends, right? Yeah.
Connor, I would take.
Richard, I think Richard is very handedly Team Depa Balaba, because while we were all laughing about it, Richard from outside the door went. I can never tell if anyone can hear him yelling outside. I hope they can.
I can today.
I heard the echo of you impersonating Richard, but I didn't hear Richard.
Connor, I will now give you the floor to defend the legendary Depa Bilaba, or as Star Wars people would say it, Depa Bilaba.
Again, this
okay,
is
now
Depa Bilaba in Huttese.
Now I do wish I knew the bracket beforehand, because I haven't read the Kanan comic in a long time, and that's where most of her expertise comes in. That's really just where most of my adoration for her comes from. But from what I can remember, she's pretty damn good. I'm gonna go with her just on the basis of like her being my Star Wars mom, but I will say, like, I could, it would be a pretty good fight. I could see Plo Koon taking the W.
Well, okay, here I will. This is the defense I'm going to give for Depa Bilaba. Trained by Mace Windu. I just want to, again, I did not pick how any of this would be online, so it was just convenient that Mace directly precedes this matchup. So remember everything we just said about Mace Windu? Yeah, he trained her.
Wait, Jared, there's someone in the comments that'll appreciate a certain bit of history. We have Ochi's biggest fan here. Let us not forget that Ochi tried to shank Deba and got absolutely sunned by her and Mace in the Shadow of the Sith flash.
Yes,
that's very true. I forgot that happened.
That has nothing to do with this. It's just funny that Eli's here to hear about Depa and Mace as a pair, because that's who Ochi of Bastoon decided he was going to try to kill.
Yeah, there's that too.
There is not a better example about Ochi of Bastoon's character than the fact that he thought by him fucking self he could take on Depa Bilaba and Mace Windu at the same time.
That's pretty great.
That is a level,
you know what? He lived.
That is a level of confidence you only see in like
dumbasses,
drunks and children.
Drunks and children, and your average middle-aged podcaster. Like that is the hard shit.
This would be a good fight. That's all I'll say. This would be a damn good fight. I'm voting for Depa, but god damn it, this would be a good fight.
It's close, man. Listen, Depa Billaba, she is a master of Form 3.
She's got that dog in her.
Depa Billaba has that dog in her. Listen, man, Depa Billaba has a mastery of Form 3 that is so particular that the Grand Inquisitor recognized it in Kanan.
Yeah.
You know, lest we
She's
forget.
good.
Again, this is convenient for me because like we just got done doing Kanan in the Versus series, so like Kanan
Yeah, it's
stats are
fresh.
fresh, which means Depa is fresh for me. But and we did Mace Windu the week before, so there's a lot of that lineage floating around my head at the moment.
Yeah,
but like Depa, Master of Form 3, generally just a martial master. Again, a big factor for me is always going to be the nature of somebody's connection with the Force. And Depa Billaba, coming back from her grievous injuries on Haran Kal, you know, like that displays a level of oneness with the Force that she was able to bounce back from that, man, and get back in the field and serve valiantly. I think Plo Koon has her on Force abilities.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how I feel martially. I think I'm going to abstain from this vote.
Wow.
Ooh, our first abstain.
Typical InfoWars viewer, just ruining democracy. Horrible.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. That one. Every time you play that clip, as soon as it fades out, I just want to be sitting here and screaming. But I'm like, I feel like it's going to be too loud for everybody, and I feel like, people are gonna be like what the hell was that?
You're a good man, Kaysen Breon. Kaysen, I give you the floor. Plo Koon for Depa Billaba.
Okay. Star Wars.
Two questions. Did you say Kaysen's a Star Wars name, Alden?
I said Kaysen has a Star Wars name. When you said your full name like that, I was like, sounds like a Jedi.
Is that not what I've told you the day I met you, Kaysen?
Yes.
The day we met, I was like, you sound like a fucking Star Wars character. I was like, you sound like you're either on the Jedi Council or in like the Fellowship of the Ring. Like, good God.
You're like one of the you're in one of the big organization things from fantasy stuff, aren't you? You have to.
Yeah.
Question very quickly. I thought that he had, maybe not. It's very possible that I'm wrong. Does Plo Koon also know Vapad?
No, he is a master of Form 5 Gem So. Canonically and in Legends, Mace Windu was really the only person to truly master Vapad.
Okay. I thought I saw something that he had like mastered it, or
No.
at least like touched on it or something.
Plo is an unusual case where like it seems on the surface like he's got like a Vapad action, like he's got a touch of the dark side, but with Plo, it's like, yes, he did what essentially amounts to Force lightning, whereas but with the Sith, whereas it's like I am using my rage and my hatred to express an unbelievably painful and deadly, you know, like with Plo, it's like the sense of his justice, like the sense of his like, you are in the wrong and you need to be stopped, is just like so powerful and so much greater than most of his peers, where like he was able to manifest that in what was called electric judgment, but is essentially Force lightning but yellow. And
Force
so like,
lightning yellow, and like if getting struck with Force lightning is like getting struck by lightning, electric judgment's like a taser. Like it's made very explicit that electric judgment cannot be used with lethal force.
It's one of the peaks of Legends. It's such a Legends thing. It's some Legends writer was like, I love Force lightning. I want good guys to do it.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I like lightsaber gauntlet Plo from the concept art that ends up in a figure.
I always said that the Knight of Ren, all the Knights of Ren should have had lightsabers, but the Knight of Ren with an arm cannon, who, as far as I'm concerned, is named Kerfunkafuck. It's been a long time since we've talked about Kerfunkafuck. Kerfunkafuck should have had a light gauntlet. If they all get like wild saber variants, Kerfunkafuck gets a lightsaber gauntlet.
That would be dope. Second thing that I read somewhere recently, I don't remember what the hell it was from, so it could also very well be wrong. I read somewhere that Plo Koon did in fact best Yoda one time in a sparring match.
Yes, that is Spencer's favorite nugget to bring up. I will let Spencer explain that feat because he ambushed me with it while we were recording an episode of the Verse series that had Plo in it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I only know this from doing some research, and apparently it was, I think it was in like the Clone Wars duels game from like 10 years ago.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars lightsaber battles for the Wii.
Yes.
Wow.
where
hell yeah.
only the most indisputable Star Wars facts are found. But yeah, it was an interesting fact, and it made sense to me. I mean, other than Yoda and Mace and Obi-Wan and Anakin, like Plo is top dog. And I think in my opinion, definitely and defensibly so in the prequel era, like Plo Koon is top dog behind the obvious the outliers. And I include Obi-Wan and Anakin for me personally, partially as a let's show respect to the guys that get a lot of attention and get a lot of fan cred. But like in a pitched battle, Anakin I think can beat Plo Koon if he needs to. But I think Plo Koon beats Obi-Wan at least 75% of the time, and probably also be my point being Plo Koon is a freaking G. Like he's awesome, and I love Depa Billaba, and I don't mean to say that she's in any way like
it'd be a good fight.
It would be a good fight, but I think out of 1,000, Plo Koon wins like 90% of the time. At least,
I agree.
Yeah, she's not.
She's
good.
Like you also
she's
see
not that good.
At the beginning of Bad Batch, whenever you see Kanan as a Padawan with Depa Billaba, and like he runs away and like the batch goes after him or whatever. When he's running, you see Depa taking on like a whole like what seems like a battalion of clone troopers, and she holds herself pretty well for a decent bit of time to let.
She
Kanan
certainly lasts longer than Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stank on Alden's face, the way he nodded along at that.
That was amazing. I love that.
Also,
Look on
shouts out
Alden's
to
face.
Alden who went through his photos and screenshots and videos on his phone and found the first time in our group chat I referred to that Night of Ren as Kerfunkafuck and found the screen recording of Alden. Like, just hold on. I will play just the audio of Alden's real-time reaction to me saying Kerfunkafuck for the first time. Hold on.
Kerfunkafuck. I love Alden's laugh so much.
That is one of the highest honors you can ever get in that group chat is sending something so stupid or so funny or so cursed that you get the highly appreciated Alden laughing.
It just brings me so
message.
much joy.
It's how I know I had a funny. Charlie.
All right, we
fucking
spent
good.
too much time on this matchup.
So how is it lining up? We have Connor Depa, Spencer Plo, Kaysen. What'd you say? Plo. Alden, you're either gonna create a tiebreaker that goes to the chat. So chat, start putting in who you think's gonna win this in the event Alden brings us to a tie.
This has been probably the best matchup, I think, so far. I would like to say.
Mace Windu and Coleman Trevor seem lopsided to you?
Unfairly so.
No way, dude.
Okay, so where we stand right now, you abstain like a coward.
I didn't abstain like a coward. I'm not sure. I could truly go either way on this.
Kason went Plo.
Spencer
It's 2 to
Kason went
1
Plo.
It's 2-1 Plo.
Connor went Deppa.
I am going to say, yeah, I mean, I'm going to go Deppa.
Yes.
All right. Chat.
Alden, I love you,
We
sir.
have a tiebreaker on our hands. We need the chat to get involved here. So, all right, we're already starting to see some movement. We are seeing voting happening. I love democracy. We got Plo Koon, Deppa Balaba from Charlie Ashby. I'll wait a minute here before we get any extra chats in. Wait to see if Jen or Woodsy chimes in as well. But
and no, Woodsy already chimed in.
What did he say?
He said Plo.
Ooh, no. All right. Well, I'm going to give it about another few seconds here. Okay, yeah, I see Woodsy's coming through. The comments are showing up out of order on StreamYard for me. All right. Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
The chat is split.
All right. What should we do in the event of a chat stalemate? We got to come up with something. Can we do a Twitter poll that only lasts 10 minutes? Is that possible?
I appreciate it, Jen.
No, but I'm saying, is that possible? Like, can you set it to that?
Let's find out.
Let's see.
Give it like the least amount of time.
I do have chance cubes, Eli. I do have chance cubes.
I'm not doing this for a chance. No, we're not doing this to a chance cube.
Oh man, that would be tough.
The fact that we're even at a split decision is just totally bizarre to me right now. I'll be honest.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
I did not expect.
I loved the point that was made that the Grand Inquisitor, that her form, her teachings, and her legacy in martial prowess is
There's
so
7
distinct.
people watching. There should be someone that
fear.
should comment. Like,
Strikes fear enough, even in her pupil, that she's got to be the real deal.
I'm not gonna lie, Spencer. I expected Plo to kind of run away with this, so I'm not as shocked as you are.
Here's what we're saying right now, though. What we are saying is somebody who is a Form 3
I'm seeing
master.
all of your tweets you've been making this whole time. You're a little shithead.
Right. I've just been tweeting. I've just been having fun.
Hold
Just
on.
hanging
wait.
out, man. Gosh.
What we're saying here is that Deppa, who while a distinctive Form 3 user, is not by any way comparable to the very best Form 3 user, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was not as like we're talking Plo Koon.
Whoever hasn't
bested
commented
Yoda-
in the chat, because I see there's 7 people. Please comment your choice.
Here's okay, all right.
The poll is on Twitter. It is on Twitter,
okay.
so we wait now. It's on my Twitter page. So at Dark
Yeah,
Jedi
wait for the bird
2552.
All right.
Oh,
I obviously will abstain from voting because
So how much time did you set for this vote?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay.
Do we
So
have
in
another
that- in
matchup
those-
we can move on to?
It's in round 2, so just because it would be in round 2, we're gonna wait here.
I was going to propose, can we use this 10 minutes so I can grab a beer and potentially a snack?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. While Alden grabs a bite, I will just play some sizzle.
On which planet did
I
Luke
can tell you
Skywalker
everything
and Ben Solo
about this planet,
confront the Knights of Ren in
except
the
its
second
motherfucking name.
Buy merch. Your winner by way of technical knockout.
We have some beautiful I am the king. I am the reigning champion. I will always be above you. I am bigger than you. I am wiser than you. I am stronger than you. I am better than you. I am God.
Hi, I'm Jared, the Trivia Loser Jedi.
And I'm Scooter.
And we're here to tell you that we aren't that great at trivia, and I mean we're downright poo-poo at it. Yeah, ever since then I've been dogging Scotty to step back in the ring with me. No questions about El Frono will be asked, and it'll be a good time this April. Now I have this like imaginary rivalry with you in my fucking head, where it's like, I want J-Ro!
Jared, you lost to me in trivia. You're a loser. You're a loser. I will not. You lost to me in trivia.
Jared lost to me in trivia. That charlatan friend, mind you, who has been ducking me and running from me for years now.
Your lust for J-Ro will destroy you.
And you will learn to rue the day you underestimated the power of the Bi Republic.
Is this your king? Is this your king?
Think about the things you applied to content creating and the things that you maybe have held have you hold to a high standard that people also love, and there's that one little dark spot in all of this, and you're like, man, I can't believe that I've gotten this far and just being a part of a bigger community, but there's this one little black spot in this beautiful Monet of a painting, and it's just the fact that I kicked your ass in trivia. Literally nothing makes me happier.
All right. Connor and I are back. Case and Spencer and Alden are still in the wind. We have about 5 minutes left on the Twitter poll. And
so in that case, with the third plow, what do we do once the Twitter poll ends?
So I'll reiterate myself whenever Spencer and Alden come back. Twitter poll has 5 minutes left. And it is currently, with 17 votes cast, 71% to 29% leaning Plo Koon.
Okay.
So to me, that seems really definitive.
Again, 7 minutes, but still very true.
I mean, 5 minutes.
Okay.
Which is now looking more like 4 minutes. So I think we're going to end up having a winner here. Like I said, Jen, I accept the results. Thankfully, there's not going to be a TNAP J6 happening in the comments. I'm happy to see that.
Jen is the anti-Trump.
Yes. I am going to be right back. I'm going to bounce out real quick because I'm getting a phone call from my brother. So stay put, Kaysen and Connor. Entertainer.
Tell Logan I said hi.
I will.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we're just big chilling here while Jared's on the phone. Hey, look, there's Spencer. Spencer's back.
Here, I'm coming back with Logan live on air. We have a call in from Logan Bachman Stubbs. Actually, wow. Logan, I need you to answer a question, buddy.
Yeah, what's up?
Who do you think wins in a fight, Plo Koon or Depa Balaba?
Plo Koon, for sure.
All right. That's fair.
The voice of the people. The voice of the people.
Yes.
Oh my.
Spencer, you're muted. The button on the back of your mic.
How about now?
How about
in your camera? Yeah,
you're good.
What did I miss? Clearly, when I was also grabbing a snack, I missed something.
Not
Logan
really.
just chimed in. We're just kind of chilling right now while Jared takes a call from his brother.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So.
I'm honest. No offense to you, Connor. I love and respect you
Oh,
as a Star
none
Wars
taken.
contributor.
I get it.
But I'm
Dude,
astounded that this has come to a split decision. I'm astounded.
I'm kind of shocked too. Like I thought.
You want to give some more words to the audience, real quick?
Pretty easily.
Yeah.
All right, Logan. What do you have to say to our live viewers right now?
The boy Jared, his birthday's coming up tomorrow. Wish him happy birthday, bro.
Yeet.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
Don't spam W's in the chat.
I'm so sad Alden didn't get to see that. All right, I'll see you later, buddy. I love you.
That was awesome.
That was very funny. Spencer, I will fill you in. So, what we are looking at currently is as follows. We did get a third Plo Koon in the chat. However, I'm not too worried about that being a deciding factor. Just wait till Alden sits down.
All right.
Alden, welcome back.
Are we still in the poll?
So here's what the poll is looking like. Well, first of all, you just missed a live call-in from Logan.
Mando!
Logan, now we got a Mando appearance. Oh my goodness.
Dude, all the guest stars are coming in.
Hello. I'm going to type. I want to vote. I type.
Oh my gosh.
This is so cute.
So
here is the situation.
I love Mando.
There was a third Plo Koon just as the Twitter poll began that came into the chat, but still considering the Twitter poll because we did do it. With 2 minutes left and 18 votes, Plo Koon is leading with 72%.
Okay, and we're forbidden from voting, right?
Yes.
What about Casterly Talk hosted by Ken Knapsack?
I will absolutely love to hear Ken Knapsack's take on the matter.
But his vote is not weighted.
Okay. Let me see what he...
How Spencer was like, okay, listen here, you fucking Schmodown fanboy. Don't you...
All right.
Absolutely not.
Texting him right now for commentary.
Okay.
Also, so you said Logan called in?
Yes.
Do you think he's still watching?
No, he called me because he was going out for the night, but since he knew he was going to be out late, he wanted to call and wish me a happy birthday now, and told everybody to spam W's in the chat for my birthday.
Aw.
Spam W's in the chat for Jared's birthday tomorrow.
I was gonna say
spam W's in the chat for Plo Koon because he would definitely win.
Oh, we're having fun tonight, folks. So yeah, I'm waiting to hear Ken's vote.
I was gonna say Logan needs to accept my Facebook friend request. Man, left me on pending.
I will inform him to do so. He's
Mando.
obligated. But yeah, barring a stirring case to be pled by Ken Knapsack, I think Plo Koon is going to be taking this one.
There's still the clock.
Huh?
The poll's over?
Is it? Let's check.
Eli says it is.
Final results with 23 votes. Plo Koon walked away with 74%. So anyone who could do the quick math and tell me what 74% of 23 was?
Quick math.
Doesn't matter. He won.
Let me try to do math.
We'll say Plo won, and then I'll share Ken's thoughts when they come in.
Okay. Okay, cool.
I just texted him and said, hey, Plo Koon, Depabalaba, who you got in a falls count anywhere match?
Falls count anywhere.
No holds barred.
Listen, I don't like the idea of Plo Koon being in a wrestling match because that means someone could just go right for that respirator.
Jesus.
And do some dirty shit. All right, guys, we are in round 2. And in our first match in round 2, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi against Kai Adimundi. Now,
Can I
hot knife
cast the
through butter
first
here.
vote?
Yes.
Obi-Wan.
I will cast the second vote and say this is an easy W for Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's even in the man name. Kason.
In the man name. Obi-Wan.
OBW. Spencer.
The Negotiator.
All right. Alden.
Yeah, I don't see how this goes any other way than an OBW. It just feels like it's not gonna be like, Obi might break a sweat, but it's definitely gonna be harder for Obi than Eve Koth was, that's for sure. This is round 2 for a reason. But again, what can Ki do that Obi-Wan Kenobi can't do better?
Exactly. That very well put. For our second matchup, now this one I think is going to be a little closer. I think it'll be a lot closer. Kit Fisto versus Yoda. Now I'm going to chime in first here because here's my thing.
Ken's response on the previous matchup. Ken said Depa, and he said, in the end, oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I gave him a matchup that did not happen. Something in my brain like poo-pooed, and I wrote Kit Fisto instead of Plo Koon.
Oh my goodness!
A match that did not happen. I wrote Depa Billaba or Kit Fisto, and he wrote Depa. In the end, Fisto jobbed out to Palpatine. Depa lost in his screw job finish to the clones. She would have gone over without those run-ins.
I love every piece of wrestling jargon that was just used right there. I also love the idea of Kit Fisto being a fucking jobber for the Emperor, which in wrestling terms means somebody who their like main thing they bring to the table is that they like lose to make the other person look better. So here's why I think I think Yoda wins. But the reason I think this is a tougher fight for Yoda than round 1 is that, again, like Kit Fisto's whole style is built around being able to engage multiple people at once. It's why, and this is Spencer in my opinion, especially with the Versus Series stuff, had Kit Fisto not decided to retreat, and had it not been for the intervention of the Magna Guards, I think Kit Fisto would have killed General Grievous on Vasek.
I am inclined to agree with you on that. I rewatched that episode semi-recently for the first time in years, and I had several takeaways, all of them positive, and one of them was he had him on the fucking ropes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, this would...
And for somebody whose specialty is fighting multiple opponents at once, when you're fighting Grievous, you might as well be fighting 4 different people at once.
Right.
Yeah. And with a similar logic for me, with the way that Yoda just kind of like, bop, 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 was hopping all over the place. Again, there's kind of like a similar reflex where Kit Fisto might as well be fighting multiple people with how quickly he's going to have to contend with Yoda. So I think that Kit is going to be able to like really push Yoda to the edge here in terms of like how much gas he has in the tank. But I think Yoda will eventually resort to his force abilities, which will knock Kit asunder. I think Yoda eventually pulls out a W here, but it is a very, very, very narrow one, in my opinion.
I'm gonna chime in real fast and just say I agree with everything Jared said. My vote's for Yoda, but gotta give Kit his flowers here.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Alden.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that as well. I feel like this would be an excellent spectacle to watch. This would be one where everyone would come out to the training patio to want to see this happen. I feel like we would see innovation. I feel like we would see really unique choices and a lot of smiling. I think that this would be a lot like a really big moment maybe for Kit Fisto. But I don't see how he manages to put this guy away in the green off, the green showdown, the green gauntlet, if you will. I don't know. I don't.
Green gauntlet.
Again, if we're talking about, like Spencer brought up the percentages and like how many times out of 10 and like I don't know if Kit has any of those times out of 10.
Yep, we have Versus Series utilized the model of Deadliest Warrior, that brilliant old TV show that got
canceled. That was amazing.
So good.
I love that show so much.
Like they would do like, we run the simulation 1,000 times. This is who comes out on top statistically, and most of the time, Jared and I would agree that like there are, for our regular versus matches, there are times whenever the underdog comes out on top, but out of 1,000 times, Yoda definitely beats Fisto.
All right. Kaysen, your vote?
Yeah, pretty much of the same mind. I think Kit Fisto gives Yoda a workout, but I don't think he can beat him.
All right. Well, our semifinal is already going to be one that I think is going to be a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, my vote was going to be Yoda. I think it would be pretty razor thin close, but I think.
Oh, I'm
Yoda
sorry,
could
Connor. I thought you went first. I apologize.
No,
You went
you're
first
good.
for Obi-Wan. I'm sorry.
I
Let's
was
all
gonna
read
say
together.
like it was. I think it was. Yeah, I can't talk. I was gonna say Yoda. I think it's a real again, like we've all said, it's a really close fight. I think it's a really close fight, but Yoda.
All right. All right.
So
Well,
I think that's unanimous.
that is
That's
another
our first-
unanimous
that's our
one.
Oh wait, or
We've
another
had
one?
quite a
What was
few.
our-
We've had quite a few unanimous ones,
Okay.
including the first time Yoda fought. It was just that I wanted to give Shakti her flowers before I gave it to Yoda. Our next
Whatever,
matchup,
Eli.
Our next matchup: Anakin Skywalker versus Yaddle.
Oh jeez.
This is this is fun.
This is
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'll be the second time Yaddle's showing down with a fallen Jedi Knight. Obviously, this isn't like pre-suit Vader. This is like Anakin, like at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith.
Oh man, Anakin at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith versus jeez.
Well, middle of the Revenge of the Sith, whenever Anakin actually becomes a council member. But
yeah.
For all
Right.
intents and purposes,
Yeah, I was just trying
Anakin's
to
still
avoid
level as he
saying.
fights Dooku. Yeah,
I was trying to avoid like implying that it would be pre-suit Vader.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just gonna say it right. I don't really know actually. Dang, this one's hard.
Are we gonna get an abstention from Connor?
No. I think I'm gonna go with my heart, and my heart tells me Yaddle.
Okay, one for Yaddle on the board. Connor,
Like
Connor's a very brave take. Kaysen, Yaddle versus Anakin.
It is really tough because like Anakin is like supposed to be the chosen one, but then also like the species that Yaddle and Yoda and Grogu are like the most immensely powerful force beings.
And the fact that Anakin's very like gets in his own head and everything, and like Obi-Wan
Yeah.
says in Obi-Wan Kenobi, your need for victory, Anakin, it blinds you.
Right.
And
So-
Yaddle's crafty. I mean, I said it earlier. Yaddle is a crafty fighter.
Right. Yeah, because like she's crafty, and then like Anakin, I feel like would just come with like the overwhelming offensive.
Yeah.
And it's like, who,
But like
who do you
Yaddle, I
think
feel like
takes
could
that?
pick apart some stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that the maneuverability that she has with her fighting style, I feel like she might be able to like evade him long enough to be like, okay, that's an opening when he makes that move, and then wait for it to come around again, and then be like, okay, we
Brah. Like, bah.
yeah, but
I love how Connor's just
Oh.
fully picking up on the fact that Kaysen, 90% of the conversations Kaysen and I have are us just making noises at each other, trying to make the other one laugh.
Yes.
And Connor just immediately caught the vibe.
I love it. Oh, dude, I don't know. I'm really torn. Cause like the other thing too is like Anakin is like he's the dude. He's been the dude.
He's the dude. It's a fair point.
I think I might have to agree with Connor. Like upon thinking about it.
Okay,
I don't really
we got
want
two
to,
Yaddle. This is
but
already
I think
an
I might
upset.
have to go with Yaddle.
Wow.
Ooh.
This
Do you
could be an
realize-
upset.
I just want
This might be an
want
upset.
everybody to abbreviate this moment for a second and acknowledge we stand here, the five of us, with the power to remove Anakin Skywalker from Marvelous.
Yeah, seems pretty neat.
Which we might get booed for that in the comments or whatever.
The only person who has weighed in so far has also been pulling for Yaddle.
It's really interesting to imagine.
And Eli commented.
Not just
Eli
a
did, I didn't
final
see
four.
Eli's.
Imagining a final without this man seemed bonkers to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will tell you. So far, full transparency, whenever I got like when I made the bracket, like this is randomized.
Mhm.
This is looking exactly like what I thought it would.
Hmm.
We are on the precipice of a massive upset. And
Well, the
I'm
thing about
very
this-
interested to see how it goes.
The thing about it is that there was something in this conversation that we need to really nail down here. Is it the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, or is it when Anakin gets his seat? And I feel like by the criteria of this tournament, it is when he gets his seat. That is after the beheading of Dooku, which rattled the fuck out of him. That is after Palpatine has already been in his ear and has given him the whole, I'm going to appoint you. They're not going to like it. That is after he knows he's going to be a father. This is the most unbalanced he's been until, the Darth Plagueis speech. And Yaddle, we have seen, can do this shit against somebody that is extremely unbalanced.
Dude,
Before Alden gives his vote, I'm going to step in here because yes, Anakin is unbalanced. That is fair. That is an astute observation. Anakin Skywalker, pound for pound, is one of the best warriors the Jedi have ever produced. Not necessarily the best swordsman, although he's one of them, but he is one of, if not the best, pound for pound, all around warriors that the Council has ever, or that the Jedi have ever.
Yeah,
produced.
if you put that man, just tell him just like you see that legion of battle droids or see that legion of like Sith troopers or whatever, just go straight at him. He'll do it.
I think Anakin has the sword play to beat Yaddle, and I'm not bringing this up as like he beat Dooku and Dooku whatever, nothing like that. But like Anakin Skywalker, I mean, yeah, again all that's so circumstantial. My big thing here is Anakin
having the sword play is a fair point.
Anakin had the technique necessary to be able to meet Dooku.
Technique.
Anakin was able to match Dooku on technique and sword play, and he needed to tap into the dark side to kind of push over that win and get over the line. I think Anakin could have beaten Dooku without it. It just would have been a lot closer, and it would have been a lot hairier for him to get there. I think Anakin, on technique and on his ability to integrate his force abilities, I think he will be able to weather the storm that is Yaddle. I think Anakin can beat Yaddle. So we have 2 Yaddle, 1 Skywalker. Spencer.
All right. I'll get this out of the way up top. My vote is Anakin, but here's why.
Okay. Alden, you're gonna have a big job here in a minute.
Here is why. Okay. We have seen Yaddle cross blades with Dooku. Okay. She can keep up with Dooku's swordsmanship, but what I think is really key is in the opening moments of that, and I was rewatching this just now, in the opening moments of that engagement where Yaddle is fighting Dooku, Dooku uses he uses 4 heavy-handed sweeping motions to start out, and in each case it's like Yaddle barely deflects and then gets like she manages to deflect it, but not to match the strength. And we're talking Anakin Skywalker here, okay? This guy fights like a powerhouse, and if Yaddle is barely deflecting the power blows of Dooku, who is a precision fighter, not a power fighter, then she is going to be literally disarmed by Anakin with one of his power strikes. Now, again, I can appreciate that this is not Anakin by the time he's fighting Dooku. Like, this is Anakin when he gets his seat. He is a very emotionally unstable guy by this point, as Alden pointed out. But Anakin has gone blow to blow with the likes of Dooku, who is a crafty fighter. Yaddle, as we see with her fight against Dooku, is also a very crafty fighter. She uses a lot of dodges. She uses a lot of parries. She uses some of the I'm gonna disappear all of a sudden and use the psychological stuff against you, or at least to hide out for a second and catch my breath kind of stuff. Like, she is crafty. Anakin has met crafty fighters and defeated them. And by the time he takes a seat on the council, he's beaten Dooku. And while Yaddle is very skilled and she has the technique to beat Anakin, she does not have the strength. If Dooku, by all that you can perceive with the eye, comes this close to overpowering Yaddle in the opening moments of that fight, Anakin can easily overpower her in a matter of several blows if he has to. I just think that Anakin has what it takes.
I am very much inclined to agree with you. I do want to just one comment we got come through from Woodsy. Yes, Yaddle is caught off guard by Dooku in that moment. The big point Spencer is making, however, is not so much that Dooku was. It's not so much that Dooku did do it; it's that he could. Dooku is not a power fighter, and the fact that Dooku was able to bring anything to bear at all, really, that staggered Yaddle, is not a good omen for how she stacks up against Anakin Skywalker, who is a dedicated power fighter. And because of her technique, she's not going to really be dealing with Count Dooku, who's going to be evading or trying to kind of take the blow and use the momentum against her to move her around. She's going to be dealing with somebody in Anakin Skywalker who is not so much blocking, but swinging, back at her. He's going to be actively trying to bat Yaddle away.
I very realistically see this ending in Yaddle getting her saber just batted away from her, just
wrenched away.
It just flies out of her hand, and then she gets cut in half. That's how I see this going.
I was going to say that this armament, but sure, yeah, you can get cleaved in half. You can get Anakin going on the Jedi Purge early here.
Literally disarmed, not just getting her saber taken out of her person, but her whole arm. Yeah, but anyway.
But yeah, all right, Alden. Moment of truth. You could be the architect of a great upset here.
Don't put a single camera on me, man. All right. Everything that's been said, I can't disagree with a single word of it. But I just can't help but think about where these fighters are at, where we've seen them. The fact that Yaddle was able to be so centered under revelations of darkness that were so much greater than what Anakin had at this point. He didn't have the Sith Lord revelation at the point that we're talking about and was already that rattled. Whereas she had lost, the Jedi had just been wounded for the first time in 1,000 years. Now they'd lost Jedi, but wounded in terms of their mortal war, their enemy, for the first time in 1,000 years.
Not only did they lose one of their best in Qui-Gon, he was taken from them by a Sith Lord.
By a Sith Lord. This just happened. They still have not had his burial yet. His funeral, rather, his pyre. And she's still able to be this centered and try to make an emotional connection with somebody that is already a Sith and does reach him. We know she does. That level of just battle focus is something that Anakin Skywalker, even at his height, could never attain. But at the same time, everything we've said about Anakin's combat prowess and ability is undeniably true. It's really, really difficult to say. I'm thinking about this guy, thinking about the decisions that he would make at that point in the film and the story, and the decisions that he would go on to make. I mean, as he leans in and as he starts, that's the thing, is that we've talked about Anakin, right? We've talked about where Jared, I know we've talked about this a lot, his rage is either a super buff or it's a super debuff, depending on when you catch him.
Yeah.
Depending on the circumstances you catch him in.
And even if it's a situation where he could rage out, a lot of my logic for this is this is a sparring match. I don't see him raging out at one of his colleagues in sparring necessarily. He might fight too close to the sun the way he does against Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan Kenobi. but like I don't see him having.
And that's the
kind
thing,
of,
though,
like,
is that like he makes
snap.
dumb, arrogant, cocky decisions when life's great. And so it's like at this point, it's like, what is he? Where is this guy at mentally? We've seen where he is by the end of the film, obviously, but that's after Order 66. So it's like I'm not holding that against him here. I'm not factoring that in. But it's like I gotta wonder, like, one thing that's in my mind is like Jedi Dooku versus this Anakin. I don't know that it goes Anakin's way.
Yeah.
And
that's another fun thing to consider is that like that was almost a matchup we had to consider.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. This is one of the hardest decisions that I've had to make. I did not expect this. And then I'm also resisting the urge in my mind to just be a little chaos fuck.
And abstain?
No,
or just
not
pick Yaddle just to break the bracket.
Yeah. I don't want that to be the reason I do it. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm picking Yaddle. I think
oh
she
my
can.
God.
Ladies and gentlemen, this just changed everything.
I think she can. I don't think that this Anakin would be able to. He can beat her, but can he beat her? I don't think so.
Can I give my reasoning for why I picked Yaddle in the first place?
Was it because you wanted to break the bracket?
No, genuinely. It was only because like I thought even though of Anakin's prowess, even though he has all this skill, like there's still like a lot of tiny little flaws that he has that sort of just snowball into something big during a fight that I just feel like Yaddle could just take advantage of. That's it.
True, yeah.
I sincerely, that was my
long.
only reasoning, and I'm not even kidding. I did not expect this, but holy shit. We just had a massive upset.
I'm just thinking about them in this setting. I'm thinking about them in this setting. I'm thinking about the training. I'm thinking about what he's going through. I'm thinking about how uncentered he is. How, even though it is just a spar against a coworker, he's dragging everything in. And I think the second that Yaddle says something, even in a caring way, like, Skywalker, you seem a little distracted today, that's when he starts to lose. Anakin, and I know I'm going to say this, it's going to sound dirty, and I know we're all 12-year-olds, Anakin beats himself.
He does.
Like
he does.
She would literally, right. She would say something compassionate, and it would be like, Skywalker, you seem a little distracted, or do you need to stop? Do you need to talk? And he would immediately get prideful, and it's like Yaddle's been down that road again. Wasn't a council member.
Whatever, Eli. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that this is her day.
Anakin as a runner would be very interesting because like he could be the most talented man. No, because it's like the mental thing.
Anakin Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker. Come on, it's right there.
Like no, it's just because of the whole like Anakin beats himself mentally. Like Anakin is probably the most talented runner on the face of the earth, but like if he just can't get over that mental leap, he can't really push himself to his own limit.
No, that's very true. That's Anton Bandelay, another like Versus series guy I used to watch all the time. He made a great point whenever he talked about Anakin. He was like Anakin Skywalker. He always talked about it in like basketball terms. There are people who have to practice hard and get good at certain skills, and then there are people who have a raw talent. And when you apply that to like Jedi terms, for example, Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's not that naturally gifted.
But he works hard.
He works hard. He trains, and he has a deep spiritual connection with the Force. And when I talk about that
talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah, exactly. And like when I say training and when I talk about that kind of thing, a huge factor in that is also one's connection to the Force spiritually. Yeah. And Obi-Wan lets the Force guide him in a way Anakin never could. People always talk about, Anakin's full potential, Anakin's full potential, Anakin's full potential.
What is it?
Even if Anakin didn't turn to the dark side, he never would have met his full potential unless and until he learned to fully give himself over to the Force the way Obi-Wan could. That's when you get Force God Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
But as long as there's that like aggression and pig-headedness, never.
Oh my God. Dude, Woodsy just said something that, like, I don't think many people are gonna get, but wow, that's a take.
Where are we at? Is it the chat?
It's like the most recent comment. He said Anakin is the Jamarcus Russell of the Jedi. Basically, I'll make it quick. Jamarcus Russell was like a top draft pick, was picked by the Raiders. Dude was basically like
supposed to
touted.
be the next NFL god.
Yeah, dude was touted as like one of the best quarterbacks ever. He was gonna lead the Raiders to the promised land. He was gonna be such an amazing quarterback. He was an absolute bust. One of my favorite stories that I will tell right here is the coaches, to really test if he like had any work ethic, gave him blank tapes to like test if he would watch them, like see what he says. And so they gave him tapes with no film on it. The next day,
see if he would be like, "Hey, you gave me blank tapes, asshole."
No, yeah. The next day, they came back at the next day in practice. The coaches asked him, "Oh yeah, what'd you think? What'd you think, Jamarcus? What'd you think of the tapes? What'd you think of the film?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I thought it was really good." And that right there is just like, come on, man, you didn't watch it.
That's dude, that's such a funny story. I'm so glad that you also like sports stuff.
I'm multi-talented.
Oh man, everybody! I just want to also address the fact that Alden picked the best GIF possible for his tweet about this upset, and it is Yaddle triumphantly lifting the door in the Insidious's hideout. Wow. I keep saying this may have changed everything, but I don't know, because this next the matchup that Yaddle's gonna have to deal with is gonna be a toughie.
Unreal upset.
We need to decide who Yaddle's going to face in the semifinals, and that is going to be between Mace Windu and Plo Koon.
Wow,
this is the best matchup. This is going to be the best matchup in the entire bracket, I think.
This probably goes on for hours.
Yeah,
I don't have hours.
I mean,
no, I mean the fight, not
the
our
fight
conversation.
Oh yeah, no.
In world, this sparring match would go on all day.
It would be, oh god. Ooh, I don't know about this one, honestly.
I don't know either.
I don't want to say, I don't want to abstain, but like,
yeah. Here's a question for the Versus Masters. We talked about. I was about to say Vapod. Is it Vapad? Vapod?
Vapod is valid. I think Vapad sounds cooler, so I say the long A.
Okay, gotcha. So we talked about it. And, you know, how it's about channeling your opponent's rage. How much use is that against Plo Koon? What will Plo give him to use? Because this is a stalwart. When I think of Plo Koon, I think of, you know, a boulder in a rushing river. Like, what are you going to get out of this guy? What is he going to give you? He's not going to break. He's not going to suddenly get off his game and let emotion control him.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about Plo. We've used him in several versus matchups, and like, yes, he has the determination of someone who is emotionally involved. Like he has the relentlessness of somebody who has actual rage behind them, and yet he is completely dispassionate in everything he does. Like he is not coming at it like you have wronged me personally. He's like, no, you have committed an act of abomination against the living force. Like you have gone against the side of life and the side of what is right. And like, because of this, you must be put down. Like he does, even though he has an intensity about him that is comparable to somebody who wields the dark side, I don't think Plo Koon has any rage that he uses that could be made to Mace's advantage. Like that goes, if he had any, and I think if Plo had any rage whatsoever in the moment when he put out Electric Judgment, if he had any rage at all, it would have come out blue. It would not have come out yellow. So like this guy's intensity matches that of somebody using the dark side, but his intent is completely different. And so I don't.
Yeah, the council grilled him when that
Right.
happened, and he had to say, like, there was not an ounce of anger. He said, I knew what I had to do, and it happened naturally. I casted that lightning, and I was able to defeat him and disable him.
He's righteousness. Like that argument, that mentality, that emotionality,
Keep talking.
like
I'm
that's
back to myself first.
that's
So
like
Alden-
actively like him being able to be purpose defined. Like when we talk about Star Wars and Luke and peace and purpose and all that stuff, like to be able to do that nullifies everything that Windu has dedicated himself to unlocking and mastering. Not that, I'm not that Windu's out of tricks, of course, after that, but it's just like, yeesh.
Alden, I just gotta say real quick, your tweet, down goes Skywalker, has the same exact energy as down goes Goodman.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. All like Mace Windu's number one asset as a Vapad user is his enemies' lack of control and their lack of centeredness. But Plo is like, yeah, he matches the intensity without being completely lost in it. And so while like Alden makes a good point, like this does not put Mace at the bottom. Like it's not like Mace doesn't have any tricks left, but his greatest power and amplitude has been kind of cut off at the knees, in that Plo has intensity, but he doesn't have any rage to speak of. He doesn't have like that dark side energy for Mace to feed off of.
Yeah, I mean it's not so much that it is a debuff for Mace so much as it is just the removal of a positive effect.
Exactly. It's
So,
like taking Clark Kent and fighting Superman indoors. It's like, yeah, he's not getting his sun battery, but it's still fucking Superman. So
yeah, he's not actively charging up. So yeah, with this matchup here, I think Mace is a superior swordsman. I don't think there's any two ways about that. I think Plo Koon, by sheer virtue of what he has in his like bag of tricks, has the force advantage. But in a straight up sword fight, which I think this is mostly going to be, I think Mace beats Plo Koon, and I think he decidedly beats him, but I don't think it is like by a landslide, if that makes sense. Like he will very clearly best Plo, but I don't think it's going to be by such a margin that he like gets, dog walked. Like this is the exact opposite of Mace's first match. We're like the other one, like we only spent so much time on it because we wanted to relish the joking about Coleman. But like here, this is
it was not a fucking joke, fight. Jared. It was not a fucking joke. Okay. Coleman's sweep was real to those of us that know.
Well, you traded in Coleman's sweep for Yaddle's sweep.
That's true. Yeah, this is, I mean, like we joke, like got that dog in him. Like this is like both of them got that fucking Fenrir, fucking like they got that ultimate hound in them. Like it's just...
yeah. These guys we talk about in the Versus show, like victory does not necessarily come through an execution. Like victory comes through incapacitating the opponent in one way or another. These are both guys that like the chances of them winning without killing the other opponent is really slim. Not because they're out for blood, but just because they have such a decisive, sweeping blow about them whenever they fight. Like this does not end in a I'm going to bring you in alive. This ends in I'm going to bring you in, if I bring you in, completely incapacitated. Like you will be completely without faculties to ever lift a sword or ever lift a blaster again. Because that's just how these guys goes in. They go in, and out of 1,000, I'm gonna vote Mace, but I think it's close. I think it's like a 60-40 split. I think out of 1,000, Mace takes it 60 and Plo takes it 40. So I'm giving it to Mace, but it's like Like you run this enough, it's gonna give you a run for your money. Like Plo is he's an absolute force to be reckoned with. But Mace.
Well, here's an interesting note. This came up in Yaddle Anakin, and it's come up a couple times in smaller ways. Where, when? Because I think that Mace, by the end of that 3 years of war, is more of the guy that people in Twitter arguments try to use. You know what I mean? When they want to dunk on him. I think Attack of the Clones, like this party's over, Mace, and he's too dangerous to be left alive, Mace, are not the same guy.
I can see that argument. I don't know if I agree with it or not. I'd have to think on that. I don't think there's enough difference between them in the context of what would, again, ostensibly be a sparring match.
He's not rattled. That's true. Yeah.
Like if this were like Mace Windu versus Count Dooku, if this was Mace Windu versus Darth Vader, different fucking discussion.
Yeah.
About that mentality. Here, I don't think it's going to matter as much, if at all, but that is a good point to bring up. Spencer, you voted Mace. Did anybody else?
You, Eli, you're just trying to make me look bad. I know I said 60-40 out of 1,000. I'm talking like batting average here. I'm not
percentages.
Eli.
Percentages, people.
Percentage
Eli. Your homework,
yeah.
Eli.
Thank you, Eli. Thank you.
Eli's decided to use our stream as his math homework. Does anybody else voted yet? Other than Spencer?
I have not voted. I thought you voted. Did you?
I believe I said Mace. Yeah. So we have two Maces. Kaysen.
I feel inclined to agree with you guys as like voting for Mace Windu. I think that in the sparring setting, I feel like it leans Mace's direction in the sparring setting. But if it was like if it's an actual knockdown drag out fight, I'm not 100% sure. But I think in the sparring setting, I think that Mace does take it. Like similar to what you said, Spencer, where it's like almost an even split, but Mace just like kind of edges him out a little bit.
Yeah, very well put. I muted myself for a
knockdown
moment because Richard trapped himself in the closet and Taylor is extracting him. Can my son join?
Can I see my baby?
Richard.
Love it's him. A Richard stream now, everybody.
Love this guy.
See his little feeties. He's angry.
Yeah, because I just grabbed him.
Richard, do you have anything to say to everybody? Who do you think wins in a fight, Plo Koon or Mace Windu?
If he speaks English words right now.
Who do you think? I'm waiting for him to make a noise. Come on, talk to the people. Oop, okay, he wants to go now. Okay, I'm just going to hand him back over to you like that. He's still really upset about Stacey Tin losing earlier. He was very much on the Stacey sweep, and it didn't happen. I love you. You almost turned the light off on me. Taylor reached for the door for the light switch and went, "Oh." Okay, so Connor.
Mace.
Mace?
Just
All
in
right.
in terms of just swordplay, it's really close, but I think Mace takes it.
Alden, your final answer, even though we have the math for Mace?
Yeah. Mace is gonna win. Although, this is like, I think this might be the closest.
Oh my god!
Call. I feel like Mace wins, but like I feel like.
This Final Four, man.
Oh, the Final Four. Yeah, this Final Four is kind of fucked up. It's yeah.
This is insane.
This is heat.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Grandmaster Yoda. Kaysen, I'll give you the 4 first.
Ooh, all right. This is like in each of their primes, right? So this would be
so like Yoda during the
Revenge of
war,
Sith,
Obi
Obi-Wan.
during Sith.
Okay. I think. Oh, look now my kid's coming calling. I think that Yoda does end up besting Obi-Wan. I mean, he is Grandmaster Yoda. I don't think that Obi-Wan just gets like I don't think Obi-Wan is being used as a mop here. But I also I don't know how close it is. So I'm gonna say Yoda wins, and I'm gonna let the rest of you debate about it and hear the rest of your thoughts.
Okay, so you're Yoda, but not completely sold yet.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't think that Obi-Wan gets like the floor mopped with him. Like I don't think that Obi-Wan is being used as a mop here. But like I don't know how. I think he gives Yoda a workout, but I don't know how much of a workout he gives Yoda.
Okay, all right. Connor, Yoda v Kenobi. This might I see everyone's talking about this is the hardest one. This is the hardest one. This is the hardest one. I was watching the way the tournament was moving, and I was like, "This is gonna be the hardest one."
It's not often that I feel like I'm at a loss.
I'm just
I'm
just like sort of visualizing the duel and everything, and just like I'm just doing it on swordplay, no force, nothing like that, just swordplay. In terms of swordplay, oh god,
yeah, because like Obi-Wan's ultimate defense, but Yoda's like crazy attack flurry. So it's like
which one wins out? You know?
Yeah,
God.
I have no idea.
Well, so if I can weigh in for a moment, I want to
Go ahead.
Everybody's time here. In my mind, here's the thing, and I always talk about this: Anakin Skywalker and Yoda are both ticking time bombs. The difference between them is Anakin will explode, and then he'll either be amped up with like anger that will either get him killed or get him a big W, whereas Yoda just starts to run out of gas. That's where you end up in a situation like with what happened with Palpatine, where it's like, I can't keep this fucking fight up. I need to go. At least how I interpret it. Obi-Wan, I think, defensively on straight swordplay can weather the storm.
Here.
If he could handle Grievous, he can handle Yoda.
Here.
Here's
I
the
think
problem.
your opinion of Grievous is way too high, but that's a conversation.
No. But no, we're just saying like having four different swords swinging
endurance.
at you at the same time.
I get it.
Yeah.
Endurance,
Like
and
having Yoda coming at
perceptiveness.
you.
I get you. Yeah. I mean, like I keep going back to. I know this is not the one we're talking about, but I think about like to your point. I think about Obi as a 25-year-old guy. That sequence we all love, forward block, back block, everything that he was doing in Phantom Menace, like that was way before that motherfucker's prime. Way before.
Yeah.
He wasn't even using Sarisu when it comes to martial arts back then. That was back in his like 100% Ataru days.
Yeah, like this guy, the phrase "weather the storm" that you used sort of defines him, right? Like this is.
Yeah.
He is a marathon dueler. Like if you
you know what? I'm just gonna go with my heart on this one. I'm just going with my heart on this one. Obi-Wan.
If you put all of the sword combatants in a ring and you just have them fight until they all drop dead or they just drop from exhaustion, like Obi-Wan is one of, if not the last people standing. And when it comes to
that man earns my respect because of it.
Like when it comes to Yoda, yes, we have to acknowledge that Yoda has complete mastery of all of the forms. But we have to also acknowledge that Obi-Wan Kenobi has fought basically every macro type of swordsman that there is in existence by the end of the Clone Wars. Like he's fought the precision fighters like Dooku. He's fought the power fighters like Anakin. He's fought the flurry fighters like Ventress and Grievous. Like Obi-Wan has survived, if not bested, pretty much every, if not all, well, with only the exception of Sidious, Obi-Wan has survived, if not bested, and killed every single saber-wielding opponent in the Clone Wars era, pretty much. So, Yoda, while he is a serious liability, he comes out flirty, he comes out strong. Obi-Wan can handle that. If he switches up his attack pattern, Obi-Wan can weather that. He can outlast that. I'm voting Obi-Wan, not because Yoda is no good, not because Yoda isn't like rightfully deserving of the title of Grand Master, but Yoda is 800 and some years old. And just like Jared said, we have talked a lot on the Versus show. Like at this time in his life, Yoda is a force to be reckoned with for about 10 minutes.
I didn't expect anyone else to vote for Obi-Wan. This is shocking me.
That's the issue with Yoda is if he doesn't drop you in the first few minutes, his odds of winning, to quote a wise man, drastics go down.
I just went with the fact that while Yoda has the experience because he's like almost 900 at this point, like
Obi-Wan,
the fact that Obi-Wan can weather the storm. That man is a defensive. That man is endurance personified in terms of his defense. Like that's
absolutely.
Insane.
So like, if Obi-Wan was a runner, Connor,
he'd be pretty damn good. He could beat Anakin.
He'd be pretty damn good. All right. Well, I'm about to shock some people. Yoda takes this.
Okay, that's fair.
Because here's my thing.
I thought you were going to say Obi-Wan.
In sheer swordplay, yeah, everything about what we've been saying is true. Yoda also is aware enough and liberal with his force ability use enough to recognize that's Obi-Wan's biggest chink in his armor is that consistently when Obi-Wan Kenobi loses a fight, it's because someone starts to just manhandle him with the force. You know,
how did Vader feel about that?
Dooku,
in BBY.
That's how Dooku beats Obi-Wan in Sith. You know, that's like one of the few times like Obi-Wan really starts to put the pressure on Dooku. What does Dooku do? Immediately pierce Obi-Wan's telekinetic guard, throw him across the room. Obi-Wan is constantly having his like force barriers shattered by Maul, by Dooku, by Anakin, Ventress, constantly. Savage even gets a couple in on him, you know? Like, and again, yes, they have that rage boost, but like Obi-Wan's like ability to resist force abilities compared to every other like stat he has is immensely low and a huge liability.
So he has like one force.
He has, force defense at least, you know? So like I can totally see Yoda being able to score like, and again, and Charlie brought this up all the way at the beginning. All the way at the beginning of this stream. Yoda's the guy who force pushed the Emperor across the room. You know? Like
out of his chair.
Out of, across the room into his chair, flips over, like he's like with his feet up in the air. If Yoda could do that to the fucking Emperor, Obi-Wan is going to fly into a wall at Mach speed. And Yoda is going to close the gap very quickly. My vote is Yoda. As much as I don't like saying it.
No, it's fair.
Yeah,
this is a hard one.
My original argument tonight, very first argument I made for Obi, was about what could Eth Koth produce in his game that Obi-Wan fair. That Obi-Wan could not suss out. What could throw him off his game? What could Obi-Wan not plan?
That might be Levi. I'm pretty sure that's like Levi.
I have a really. I was thinking the same thing. I think that's.
I say, isn't all of Levi's like stuff like that something to do with the Martian?
Yes.
If I remember correctly,
that's
I'm pretty sure that's Levi talking shit. I love you, buddy.
That's a fair point too.
Yes.
Legal in this tournament. Yeah, I just
put you in the balls. I will.
What would Obi-Wan be able to discern from Yoda's game? What could he break through on here? It's hard to say.
Aside from just trying to outlast him.
Yeah.
And Yoda knows that's his problem. Also, assuming that's Levi, and I haven't seen you commenting in the chat earlier, I would like for you to meet my new favorite Jedi, Shaq T.
No. It's so upsetting.
Soak that in, everybody. Did you think I forgot? I didn't forget.
Never forget.
Never forget Shakti.
All right, look at Eli's trying to use Yoda quotes. He's trying to use Yoda quotes to get through this. Yoda has said a lot of things. All right. And I love the guy, but he said some stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pull up the quote. I'm sorry, I was trying to read on the YouTube screen
this
over
Lord
here.
Sidious strong enough, you
That's
are
an-
not.
Yeah, I mean you're right.
Dialogue doesn't determine a fight.
Oh, hello.
You know, but I
Could help.
Yeah, I don't know,
But it
man.
doesn't- You have a lot of people who talk a big game and end up losing. It happens a lot.
Oh man.
There's also a thing, Eli, called an upset. You just saw that tonight.
I feel like I've gotta go. I think somehow, somewhere, I gotta go Kenobi.
Oh,
For once tonight,
I think
Alden's hot takes opinions go in my favor.
I think I gotta go Kenobi. Your argument really. I was ready to go into this voting Yoda, but it was your argument eloquently illustrated. It was just, I Jared's 100% right about the,
yeah. Jared is right. He almost unconvinced me. Yeah.
But yeah,
Let people dislike
that's the
things.
thing, is
Let
that,
people like things.
Yoda at this point.
Let people not be bitchy.
I agree, Connor.
like he might have he might have that weakness toward force abilities, but this is also General Kenobi at the end of the war.
I'm aware it was a joke, Eli.
His perceptions and his powers and everything, like he'd be ready maybe for one of those.
Maybe.
That is
But
insane.
I stand by my stance. Y'all have voted. Kaysen, I'm going to let you weigh in here, even though we have our math decided.
This is crazy.
What? Wait, I already did. I was first, right? Yeah, I was first.
Oh, what did you say?
I voted Yoda.
Oh, okay. I completely forgot. So we have 2 Yoda.
Yeah, 2 Yoda, 3 Obi.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, cool. All right.
Wild.
This is crazy.
All right.
I just Yoda Kenobi
Really,
basically.
This is another upset. I had my money on Yoda here. I really did. Okay, so for anybody who's just joining us, because I know we have Levi who just joined us. Good to see you, buddy. As always.
Plo Koon versus Depa Balaba right now.
Levi, who wins in a fight, Plo Koon or Depa Balaba? So to run down who we went through already as we go into our second match in the semifinals, we had Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Eth Koth, Obi-Wan versus Eth Koth. Obi-Wan won that. Oppo Rancisis versus Coyote Mundi. Coyote Mundi took that. Yoda versus Shak Ti. Yoda won. Kit Fisto versus Adigalia. Kit Fisto won. Anakin Skywalker versus Evan Peel. Anakin took that. Yaddle versus Sacy Tin. Yaddle walked away with that. Mace Windu versus Coleman Trebor. Moving on. Plo Koon versus we very, 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 very narrowly voted for Plo Koon. That had to go to multiple tiebreakers. In the quarterfinals, we had Obi-Wan defeat Coyote Mundi. Yoda bested Kit Fisto. And in a massive upset, Yaddle bested Anakin Skywalker. And to wrap up the quarterfinals, we had Mace Windu defeat Plo Koon. And as you guys just heard, we have decided, maybe to my chagrin a little bit, that Obi-Wan Kenobi would emerge victorious against Grandmaster Yoda. I don't think so, but that is how democracy goes, and I can't make you stop the vote. Now we move into our last match of the quarterfinal, which is Yaddle versus Mace Windu.
I'm just gonna vote now.
Yeah.
I would say this is a very close fight, truthfully, but Mace Windu.
I don't.
Again, very close.
This is me, and I'm already gonna put the vote in that puts us at the mathematical instant win for Mace. But I do not see any version of this fight where Mace loses to Yaddle.
That's fair.
I'm inclined to agree as much as I wanted Yaddle sweep. It's just like I do think that this is Mace's. It would be great. It would be awesome. It would be a spectacle for sure.
I think Yaddle could like maybe get some like force hits in on Mace, but like Mace Windu's swordplay is just unreal.
Too good.
So
Depa Balaba is
Star Wars
Caleb
mom.
Doom. Yes, Connor's mother, and Kanan Jarrus / Caleb Doom's master. She dies in the first episode of the Bad Batch. She was trained by Mace Windu.
She also died in the canon comic. Much better story there. I just want to say that. I'm sorry.
But yeah, Eli here for some Yaddle sweep. It's last vestiges here. Yeah, no, I just, at the moment I was like, oh, it's going to be a massive upset. And then I also looked down and I went, oh no, Yaddle's going to fight Mace now. If this bracket got turned around in a couple different directions and Mace has to deal with other people, I think Yaddle maybe could have made it to the end. She made it further than I thought she would. But we have me, Connor, Alden all saying Mace, Kaysen.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on Mace. Like I also agree that I think it would be an absolute fucking spectacle.
Yes.
But yeah, I think Mace is gonna take it.
All right, and Spencer.
I want to acknowledge how spectacular it is, and yet how kind of unfair it is sometimes that, if it were not for Tales of the Jedi, Yaddle by no stretch of the mind makes the semifinal here.
Oh yeah.
But that's like
if we did this stream like a year ago, no way.
Yes.
No chance.
This is so deeply predicated on Yaddle almost beating Count Dooku that made everybody go, to
she's a bad bitch.
But
she's pretty good.
It makes you think like
that dog at 12.
It makes you think like if in the Tarkin novel it says that Evan Peel is a master swordsman, and yet we really don't see anything of him in Clone Wars. It makes you think.
He gets
got. If we did this exact same bracket, the exact same matchups 2 years from now, the outcome could be very, very different. And the fact that it's like what we know about these characters, we're doing the best we can right now. But like a year ago, Yaddle gets knocked out in the first round, easy.
Right.
And I think it's cool, but at the same time, it's kind of like, how can you definitively say anything at this point? Other than we've seen Mace kick serious butt, and we have seen much, much more from Mace than we've seen almost any other Jedi competitively. And so you have to give it to Mace. But like, can we just acknowledge how awesome it is that Yaddle is getting some attention in Tales of the Jedi?
Absolutely.
To the point where this person that was just a page on our visual dictionaries in elementary school,
a big old glup shitto,
semifinals of this Jedi Council bracket. It's incredible. Incredible.
It's a great thing, and like
I love Yaddle.
To think about like the context too, like we're playing with a very specific set. This isn't even prequel Jedi. This stream is very specific. This bracket, just prequel council members. If we expanded this to just council members, if we expanded this to prequel Jedi, if we expanded it to people with the rank of master, if we expand like the way the permutations and like the matchups. Because I think that what I love about this stream so far and everything that's happened is like with Yaddle and Anakin, like that was entirely predicated on how we felt about that matchup as much as it was about individual resumes. And it's like you throw in an Aayla Secura, you throw in a Luke Skywalker, you throw in a Rey Skywalker, you throw in it like there's so many things that you catch them on that day. Example, like let's theorize about next year's. I'm not advertising a stream that you guys haven't scheduled, obviously, but like let's say like we had Kylo Ren Ben Solo in there somewhere, right, in a future bracket. He might body a lot of people until he crosses paths with Luke, and then I'm gonna have to dock him like 20 mental health points.
Yeah,
like it's like things like that where it just as the stories develop. So. Good for Yaddle.
Yeah,
also, Yaddle fucking rocks in Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. She's great.
Yeah, she does.
I still need to unlock her.
And Yariel Poof is such a troll in Lego
Dude, it's so
Skywalker.
funny. His whole
He's
quest
such
is so
a troll. Like,
I think I've done his quest. I can't remember though. There's so much in that game.
Oh man. All right. Well, we're at our finals, guys. And funny enough, this final matchup is the second ever episode of the Knights of the Nerd Republic Patreon versus series.
So
Obi-Wan
we're
Kenobi
done here,
versus
right?
Mace Windu.
We're
Well, I think the context is different here.
Yeah,
The
you're
way
right.
we
You're
did
right.
it.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And
No,
plus,
no,
we have
that was mostly for the audience.
We have three more panelists to
we
weigh in.
have three more panelists to weigh in. Again, like when we did this was in during the Duel of the Fates. Not the reactor pit where Qui-Gon dies, but that space with all the bridges and stuff. That's where that fight took place. Very different arena, very different stakes. As I've said before, I kind of view this as like an in-universe, like a sparring tournament. Like this isn't, obviously like they're going for the win, but I don't necessarily think like the stakes are to fucking kill the other guy.
Bro, Eli is so salty.
Eli is incredibly salty, man.
Eli
He's got to live on. He's got to live on crate at this point. That being said, I'm just gonna cast my vote now.
Okay.
Mace Windu.
All right.
I think in terms of sword play, he outclasses him, and in terms of force play, he outclasses him.
I don't know about that.
Okay, force
play.
Force
sword play, he does. Force play, I'm not sure.
Force play, I don't want to say like it's like overwhelming. It's more like I would say like 55-45, or maybe like 52-48 in terms of that. I feel like it'd be pretty darn close.
Eli right now.
Maybe I'll walk out of here tomorrow and you never see me again. That's really what I want to do.
I'm running epic confrontations now.
Look,
Eli coping and seething so hard in the comments about Yoda taking the L is making me so happy.
You really got to think about a similar thing that we said with Vapad or Vapad and Plo Koon. It applies again with Obi-Wan Kenobi, if not more so than it did with Plo. Like, this is the man that has emotionally endured everything. Like, he is the unbreakable, the incorruptible, the unwavering, the unadulterated Obi-Wan motherfucking Kenobi. Like, he nullifies Mace's best trick right off the bat. So we can move that aside.
That's fair.
Well,
Okay.
Not his best trick.
This didn't come up earlier because, quite frankly, it's not an ability that's very important to any of these other matchups.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Mace's other big trick, which is Shatterpoint.
I thought you were going to say very fast punches.
Yeah,
he's going to just speed Obi-Wan.
He's going to speed punch this man.
Talked about
that didn't come up in the XR matchup that's out now.
Oh, go to dogehype.com.
Hell
Thank you
yeah.
very much.
Dogehype.com.
Specifically, you have to spell out the word dot.
Dot. D-O-T.
Yo, Doge
So,
Hype
okay,
was
what
good
is
with-
Shatterpoint? I always forget.
So Shatterpoint is Shatterpoint is one of my favorite force abilities because it is so fucking weird and esoteric
and awesome. Yeah.
Shatterpoint basically is the ability to reach out through the force, or not even reach out, like it's kind of a passive ability, which is what makes it so deadly.
Yeah.
It is Mace's ability to kind of naturally sense like the exact inflection point or infraction point, I guess.
The fulcrum point.
Yeah. I was trying to make another Glass Onion Miles Braun-ism because Alden had us abbreviate that moment earlier. But through Shatterpoint, Mace is able to sense like the metaphysical or just physical fault lines in an object. So there's that. So like the most direct and obvious example is that scene in the Ryloth arc on Clone Wars, where he uses the Force to very precisely send just this like tiny pinprick of like telekinetic energy to shatter the view screen on that ATTE. And get the clone out of it, because if he uses too much,
without
he could, like,
pushing it off a cliff.
Yeah, without shoving the ATTE off the cliff it's dangling off of, or hitting the glass so hard that it like sprays into the clone and fucking cuts him. But because of that, we also can tell that Mace has a very, very, very precise amount of power he's able to apply. There are some people like Anakin Skywalker whose like nuance with the Force is very minimum. He picks things up, he picks big things up, he hits things really hard with the Force. Whereas again, you have someone like Vader who can do very like precise things. It's the difference between like picking somebody up and throwing them, or something like in the Plagueis novel where Plagueis uses the Force to like stop someone's heart.
Right.
Or he like reaches out and like telekinetically grabs someone's heart and destroys it from the inside, as opposed to just boom. And Plagueis is another good example of like that difference of like precision. He's able to do something that nuanced and precise, but also when he just kills somebody with telekinesis, they think that person was killed with a bomb.
Right.
Oh, wow.
But back to Shatterpoint, Mace is able to go, okay, it's this exact spot here, kaboom, and just the glass straight apart.
Tell him about
it's also, what were you gonna say, Spencer?
Tell him about the Revenge of the Sith novelization.
Yeah. So, but that's the other one. It's also like really specific metaphysical stuff too. That using Shatterpoint, he was able to realize that everything hinged on Anakin. Like in that moment, he realized like everything, every machination of this war has always revolved around Anakin, and it is through the Force he's given this like almost like clairvoyant. Like if you're playing like a Spider-Man game or the Arkham games with detective vision, it's like turning on Spider Sense and seeing through the wall this glowing red box that you need to hit. So that's kind of how Shatterpoint works up to this point. And I don't want to say that Plo Koon was like a cakewalk or anything. Obviously, Coleman was Coleman. But like with Plo,
only because of Shatterpoint that he was able to go over Coleman.
Yes. Using Shatterpoint, Mace realized that at point blank range, he needed to shoot Coleman in the chest 3 times.
He realized this dinosaur can't fight. This dinosaur can see me anywhere I go, and I can still beat him.
But like, and again, like, yes, sometimes the Shatterpoint stuff is really obvious in theory, like Plo Koon. Oh, I wonder if the guy who needs a gigantic mask that hangs off his face to breathe has a weak spot. But again, I think Mace is a master swordsman in a way that Plo quite isn't. Like Plo is a master swordsman, but like Mace Windu's everything is predicated on the fact that he is one of, if not the greatest swordsman pound for pound produced by the Order. So here, I think Mace, again, I'm going to use a similar argument to what I use with Yoda. Mace is able to recognize that like there's a gigantic chink in Obi-Wan's armor, and it's the fact that Obi-Wan can't block a Force push to save his fucking life.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said like Force play. That's what I was sort of referring to.
Yeah, we got you.
So like,
But, like, I get what you guys are saying.
They could fight forever in a sword fight, probably, and it's another great conversation that happens in the Revenge of the Sith novel. Mace, Obi-Wan says something to the effect where like Mace is complimenting Obi-Wan's skill as a swordsman, and Obi-Wan being Obi-Wan kind of like, stop, please don't. And then Mace basically says I'm paraphrasing, but basically says, you're a better Jedi than I. I'm the master of the form dedicated to ferocity and kind of mayhem. Mm-hmm. You are the style that is built around survival and defense. Not only are you a master, you are the master of Form 3, Sarisu. So, and they have a recognition of how competent the other one is with their lightsaber.
Yeah. And in
however, the big difference here is like, Mace, if Yoda didn't just pimp slap Obi-Wan with a gigantic Force push that put him on his ass, it's gonna happen here with Mace.
Yeah.
And I think Alden was speaking about like this is a guy, Obi-Wan is a guy who has like seen pretty much everything. He has experienced a lot of really horrible things, and he's lived to tell about it. Like, he's pretty level-headed. But like, this is of anybody in Star Wars, I think Obi-Wan's got the biggest case of PTSD of anybody that we've ever seen. Like, this is a guy who was in love with a girl, saw him murdered in front of his very eyes by a truly evil person. He lost his best friend and his brother to the dark side. Like, he watched his entire family, like in the Kenobi, I don't have it here, but like in the Kenobi book, which came out like several years before the Kenobi show. But whenever he's like hanging out on Tatooine,
like John Jackson Miller Kenobi?
Yeah, the John Jackson Miller Kenobi book. Like, he has this moment where he's kind of like thinking and meditating to himself, and he talks about how like the Order was his family, and he's like basically an orphan. Like, he's alone now. Like, he doesn't have any. Like, this is a guy who is so emotionally affected by the end of the Clone War, but kind of shrugs it off because he's still got Anakin. He's still got like the Order. He's been through a lot, and so I think like without too much effort, I think Mace could find that and exploit it. However, when we talk about tactics and mindset in the regular Versus series, we talk about likelihoods of that stuff. Like, Mace doesn't. He's not the taunting type. He's not the poke with your emotions type. Unless he's like feeling with the shatter point. He's like, this is the only way I can get to Obi-Wan in a timely fashion. Like, we could be here all day, but if I want to end this fight quickly, I'm gonna have to play with his emotions a little bit. I still don't think that's Mace. I don't think Mace does that. And so, like, even though I think Obi-Wan is much more vulnerable in terms of his psyche than a lot of people assume he is. I still don't think that Mace is the guy to play that against him. Mace fights fair for the most part.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, though, is like all of that grief that Obi-Wan sustained, sure, like, it's still not something that I think really could pierce Obi-Wan. You know, this is the same guy, like Bo-Katan tried to spike that ball within seconds of Obi-Wan not knowing how to feel about the Siege of Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bo immediately was like, you know, I thought my sister mattered to you, and Obi-Wan, cool as a cucumber. She did. She meant everything to me. But, you know,
but you can tell he's hurting bad.
Oh, he's hurting, but like, I do not think you can get Obi-Wan to lash out. I think Obi-Wan got that shit out of his system when he thought he killed Maul.
I think lash out, no, but I still think it would get to him enough that you could catch him off footing. Like, you could get to him bad enough that you can defeat him, but he doesn't.
And again, and for Obi's side, like, not for Obi's side, but like when thinking about what he would have to do, how does he get Mace Windu out balance?
Yeah.
What flaw is there in Mace Windu's game? What you know, I would love for Obi to pull this out. I don't know what his angle is. I don't know what the move
Obi is a smack talker. Like, but again, like, I think both of these kind of bounce off each other. Like, Mace is not gonna go at Obi-Wan's feelings the way that it would take for him to incapacitate Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan is not going to hit a nerve with Mace that's going to be enough to incapacitate him. But like, Obi-Wan's a smack talker. Like, he's a taunter.
Obi is in that category with Kit Fisto of he likes his job. He enjoys Obi-Wan. He's been through the most trauma and he has a ton to be depressed about, but Obi-Wan is the guy that stops for a drink. He does like to hit his pose. He does like to crack a joke even when he's in chains. Like, he is a swashbuckler.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love your use of swashbuckler, Alden. I love it. It's so good.
It's my favorite word.
Yeah. I think this more or less comes down to swordsmanship because we've been talking for 10 minutes about like the passive
spiraling. I'm
losing
his mind.
Man's losing it.
I'm gonna lock in my vote. I'm going Windu.
All right, we have two Maces. Connor, Connor, you locked in Mace.
Yeah, I locked in Mace.
Okay, so we have three Maces. Kason, how are you feeling?
Lucy has won the tournament.
Damn.
We'll see.
Let's throw this up here so we can see it happen on the bracket.
For consolation, I do think that I was gonna vote for Obi-Wan. Based on, I think my vote was based on him beating Yoda in the last bracket largely. We it's like two different fights. I get it.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's two totally different fights. Yeah, I was really immediately like, okay, well, if Obi-Wan beat Yoda, he has to be Mace too. But like after hearing you guys talk about it for a little bit, I was like, okay, yeah.
This is also big facts from Levi.
Big facts, Levi.
Mace also has superior. Wait, what did it say? A
superior jump slam in Battle.
Oh hell yeah,
2005.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that was one hell of a bracket. I have every intention of doing another one of these. I absolutely want to do a dark side one. I want to do one with the High Republic.
Yeah.
I don't know how often we'll do these because obviously this is a bit of a labor of love. We're coming up over 3 hours now.
Yes.
So if anybody else has any closing thoughts here, I'm going to do kind of a round robin for everybody to do their plugs, starting with Connor.
You can find again. Okay, first of all, awesome stream, loved it. Thanks for having me on, Jared. This was great. Screw off, Eli.
Rogue One is a great movie, Eli.
Rogue One is a great movie.
You're in.
Eli, I'm not even the biggest Rogue One fan. Eli's just saying stuff to be hurtful now.
Yeah, it's just like
Eli's like a Call of Duty when you're bleeding out and you can just get those last chance shots off.
Eli has like 2 last stands somehow.
Poor Eli.
But you can find me over on Twitter at DepaBanana as my little thingy below my name is displayed. Instagram over at ConmanJFO. I co-host also over at For the Republic, a love letter to Star Wars animation. You can find us there at For the Repub Pod on Twitter, Instagram, For the Republic on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much wherever you listen to podcasts, you can probably find us. If you can't, shoot us a message or an email, whichever line of communication works best for you. Epic Confrontations. I'm a question writer and a co-host. You can find all of our past matches and upcoming matches, of which we have a decent amount, over on the Star Wars in a Galaxy YouTube channel. And you can follow the Epic Confrontations Twitter account at In a Galaxy Trivia. We have, as Jared has played the trailer for it, we have the rematch, Jared Bachman Stubbs versus Scotty J-Ro, April 10th, live on the Bombadcast channel. It's going to be insane. It's going to be fun. I genuinely cannot wait to see that matchup between those two juggernauts in trivia. I'm very excited.
You are not the only one, my friend.
Yeah. sweditor.ig.com/fiction. I help develop stories, fan fiction, obviously, not like otherwise I wouldn't be on this podcast if I was developing like Star Wars stories, like for Lucasfilm.
Asshole. You just abandon us?
You're the one
who knew what he was saying. He just
said I wouldn't be on this stream if I had a real job.
You know what I'm saying, Alden. That's rich coming from you. Wow. We have about 19 stories published on that website. I don't have any published yet. I have a few in development, all centered around Cal Kestis, one of which will probably come out probably April. I don't really know when. It's kind of whatever at this point. I just kind of let the river flow where it goes.
Bam, Connor's out. I love that. That was such a great outro, Connor.
Thank you, sir.
Spencer, we don't plug you anymore. Pitch the
Oh, the honeymoon's over,
None of your only social media is a private account that you said on the last episode you would not be accepting followers to.
I mean, that's true.
I respect
true.
it.
That's
I
true,
respect
but
it.
don't I get a chance to say anything?
Sure,
where's
sure. Plug the
respect
Versus
for your-
series.
for your longtime Versus co-host over here.
Plug the Patreon.
All right. If you enjoy
us
this
money.
content, you can listen to this every single month from Jared and myself. And might I say, being in the middle of season 4 of the actual Patreon Versus show that is exclusive to our $5 and up subscribers, we have never had collaborators on the Versus show before. And
Yeah, the only time was when Connor stopped by to be like a Cal Kestis consultant, but he's still coming from in-house.
I love that title.
I mean, but like I have to say, I can speak definitely for myself. I think I speak for both of us, Jared, that it has been a lot of fun to have some collaborators on for the Versus show. And maybe not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we're planning to dabble a little bit more in that this season.
Yeah.
Not to give anything away, but we are hoping to have some more collaborators on later on this season. So
Coleman Sweep is back on.
For reasons that do not need to
Alden,
be
please tweet that.
for Alden, for reasons that do not need to be explained. I don't think Coleman Sweep is back on the menu.
he is not.
Not with that attitude.
However,
In any case,
Bible
I
Man,
just
however,
I just
might
want
be.
to personally thank Connor and Case and Alden and everybody who's listened in on this and weighed in. It's been a lot of fun for us, at least, to bring in some more thinkers and some more minds, some more Star Wars fans in on this.
I have no
And
thoughts. I'm head empty with this type of stuff. I just go on vibes, man. I'm just like, you know what? Maybe Obi-Wan takes Yoda. You know what? Maybe this guy takes this person. But I appreciate it.
It's the element of the unpredictable that really defines our Versus series most of the time, and a lot of that it manifests itself in the arenas, but there's an element to that comes from having more than just Jared and me trying to come to a consensus, that we have an actual decision sometimes. So anyway, that's enough from me. Alden.
Well, I'm gonna go casing because I like our guests to go.
Okay,
last
fine.
before
All
we
right,
go
fine.
final
Just
close.
just totally undermine me.
I'm sorry. I love you. I don't want to fight.
Casey.
Amazing.
Yes. Hi, I'm the intern. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at CrayBreezy. I also manage my friend's deathcore band, Belvibeth. Their links are in my bios on both. They just released a new single and music video today. So if you like deathcore stuff, hit it up. If not, I understand. It's not usually my cup of tea, but shows are fun. And also, thank you to everybody who watched. Thank you to all of you guys for having me and allowing me to do this with you, because it's a lot of fun, even though I am not nearly as well versed as any of you are.
You learn on the job, and that's why he's doing it. He's the
training
intern.
on the fly.
Yes, trial by fire, and that brings us to the illustrious. If you watched this week's KNR today, this is the second time you're going to get to hear
Double
all this
feature,
from-
man.
Yeah,
yes.
Double feature of Diaz.
Yeah,
it's the double Diaz dump.
you can find me on you know what? I don't care. I don't know. Just follow me. I'm buzzed. Who cares? None of this stuff really matters.
What if I delete my Twitter tomorrow?
Jared's the future. Just support him.
Getting all existential on us.
On the record.
Nothing matters.
Who cares about the shit?
We're all just dust in the wind, man.
Maybe I'll walk out of here tomorrow and you never see me again. That's really what I want to do.
Look, man, just if you're out there, just drink water. Don't be an asshole. Don't
Hydrate or dehydrate.
Don't associate with homophobes. Don't be a
Make sure
mid.
you're drinking 1-to-1.
Don't be a mid person. Articulate your points as well as Spence. Spooter, as they call him over here. And
I love that from that whole thing. When Spencer
That's
just
my
goes,
favorite
"And I'm
delivery. That's
Spooter."
one of my favorite
It's so
deliveries
funny.
And I'm
ever.
Spooter
Just,
is very
and
funny.
I'm Spooter.
It's so
the
cheerful.
delivery is incredible.
It's so
top
good.
3.
And go birds. Go birds.
This man is
the
really
best thing
busting
about
me
that
saying go
punishment
birds.
that we had to do for Bombad Cast is that Spencer and I, after years of theater together, did not have to discuss that he was going to lean all the way into cheerfulness, and I was going to make it very clear that behind my eyes I wanted nothing but blood and revenge.
I thought the release of death.
That too. But you guys should all go follow Alden at that Alden Diaz on all of his socials, and go listen to his lovely Star Wars podcast, Octo Radio, where he's doing weekly discussions about The Mandalorian season 3, I almost said 4, called The Mandalorian Diaries. Go check that out. Alden's one of my favorite people in this space, and I'm going to talk so he can't, and tell all of you that he's one of the fucking goats. And if you're not listening to him, you're missing out.
Find me on Hinge.
Thank you, Alden.
Same.
I love the new bit where Alden is just trying to get laid on my fucking podcast.
Hey, if you're Taylor Nacy and you're watching this back later for your mans, let me know if you have any single friends.
She has a few that I think you'd like.
Don't forget about the Force play.
Can't ever forget about the Force play, man. That whole business where Jared was like, Yoda drops you in 10 minutes or he peters out. Not Alden.
Peter.
Not me.
Dog at 12.
Oh my god.
Let's do another bracket. Let's do another.
Sensational. And that's his word.
I want 16. I want 16 new Jedi up there right now.
I'm there right now. I'm with Alden. Let's re-up. Everybody re-up. We're going again.
I want
you say that. I could fucking do it. I could do it.
I want Stas Ali.
Don't fucking tempt me. That would take me 20 minutes max to remake this right now. Don't tempt me. Happy birthday to me. I did a 7-hour stream talking about who would win in a fucking fight. Anyway, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dark Jedi 2552. You can also find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you get podcasts, as well as our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon.
Give me $1.
Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Keandre Lloyd. Where the fuck did the clip go? Keandre Lloyd. And to Paco, or as he's going by on our Patreon, $1.5 billion, baby.
Right, ladies and gentlemen. From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
That got me so off guard.
So
Alex Jones.
From the front lines of the information war. That man plays so much Star Wars music on his show. It's really upsetting. I get excited when he comes back from break to Duel of the Fates, which has happened, to my knowledge, at least 3 times.
Hello? Come here, child.
Oh, is there a critter over there? Guys, be sure to check out just a final little bit of housekeeping here. Tomorrow, Star Wars in a Galaxy, Epic Confrontations, doubleheader, me versus Alden Diaz, the Iconoclast, in a Legends exhibition match, the stakes of which you will find all very interesting. And I really cannot recommend Epic Confrontations enough to you guys. If you loved the movie Trivia Schmodown, may it rest in peace. This is its spiritual successor. If you have that Star Wars trivia game show hole in your life, Epic Confrontations is the place for you. I'm super proud of it. I'm super proud of Eli and everything he's made. So check out the doubleheader that's coming out tomorrow. Like I said, me versus Alden, and then a triple threat with Buck O'Brien, Mo, and Goose from Triad of the Force. Great show coming at you guys tomorrow. On Epic Confrontations. Also, be sure to tune in for the big, or actually, no, I'm going to plug Ionized Bastards next. The Star Wars Real Play show that I got to do. Oh, speak of the devil and he shall appear. You stay right there, you son of a bitch. Ionized Bastards, the Star Wars RPG Real Play show, starring myself, Alden Diaz, Dan Miller from Baraxium, and Jerry the Cannon Junkie from the Bombad Cast as well. And that is DM'd by our lovely friend Michael McCoy at the All Remaining Systems YouTube channel. Jerry described it very well last night at the end of Bombad Cast, where he basically said it is a more irreverent Star Wars version of Guardians of the Galaxy. Which is an apt description, and I cannot recommend that show enough to you guys. Go check it out. All 7 episodes of season 1 are out now. I can't recommend it enough. And as for the pretenders to the
throne that are the Bombad Cast, you are on notice. Vengeance comes for you. Scotty J-Ro, be ready. April 10th on the Bombad Cast YouTube channel to see revenge be manifest.
On which planet did
I
Luke
can tell
Skywalker
you everything
and Ben Solo
about this planet,
confront the Knights of Ren in
except
the
its
second
motherfucking name.
Buy merch. Your winner, by way of technical knockout.
We have some beautiful
I am the king. I am the reigning champion. I will always be above you. I am bigger than you. I am wiser than you. I am stronger than you. I am better than you. I am God.
Hi, I'm Jared, the Trivia Loser Jedi.
And I'm Scooter.
And we're here to tell you that we aren't that great at trivia, and I mean we're downright poo-poo at it. Yeah, ever since then I've been dogging Scotty to step back in the ring with me. No questions about El Frono will be asked, and it'll be a good time this April. Now I have this like imaginary rivalry with you in my fucking head, where it's like, I want J-Ro!
Jared, you lost to me in trivia. You're a loser. You're a loser. I will not. You lost to me in trivia.
Jared lost to me in trivia. That charlatan friend, mind you, who has been ducking me and running from me for years now.
Your lust for J-Ro will destroy you.
And you will learn to rue the day you underestimated the power of the Bi Republic.
Is this your king? Is this your king?
Think about the things you applied to content creating and the things that you maybe have held have you hold to a high standard that people also love, and there's that one little dark spot in all of this, and you're like, man, I can't believe that I've gotten this far and just being a part of a bigger community, but there's this one little black spot in this beautiful Monet of a painting, and it's just the fact that I kicked your ass in trivia. Literally nothing makes me happier.
The bill comes due, Scotty. Be afraid.
Stop!
Move away from the cookie jar.